संभावनाओं से भरा हमारा ये झारखंड, जिसको अब नेतृत्व मिलने वाला है अनंत अशेष ऊर्जा से भरे ऐसे नेतृत्व का, जिनके बदौलत हमने जो सपने देखे हैं वो जरूर फलीभूत होने वाले हैं। और इसी संकल्प के साथ हमारी अबुआ सरकार
बस कुछ ही पलों में मंच पर हमारे बीच माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय का आगमन होने वाला है। ये खुशियां, ये उल्लास, ये अनुशासन
और ये ऐतिहासिक पल सब कुछ मिला जुलाकर एक यादगार सा अवसर प्रदान कर रहे हैं हमें।
हमारे बीच मंच पर आगमन हुआ है माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय का। हम हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं। हम सभी राष्ट्रगान के लिए अपनी अपनी जगह पर खड़े हो जाएंगे। कृपया आसन ग्रहण करें।
माननीय राज्यपाल जी, कृपया समारोह प्रारंभ करने की अनुमति दी जाए। माननीय राज्यपाल जी, आपकी अनुमति से मैं माननीय मुख्यमंत्री की नियुक्ति संबंधी आदेश पढ़ती हूँ। आदेश संख्या वैधा 26/2024 3042 रास रांची दिनांक 27/11/2024। मैं संतोष कुमार गंगवार, झारखंड का राज्यपाल, संविधान के अनुच्छेद 164(1) द्वारा प्रदत्त शक्तियों का प्रयोग करते हुए श्री हेमंत सोरेन को झारखंड राज्य का मुख्यमंत्री नियुक्त करता हूं। संतोष कुमार गंगवार, राज्यपाल झारखंड। ऑर्डर नंबर वैधा 26/2024 3042 GS रांची डेटेड 27/11/2024। I, Santosh Kumar Gangwar, Governor of Jharkhand, in exercise of powers vested in me under Article 164(1) of Constitution of India, appoint Shri Hemant Soren as Chief Minister of Jharkhand State. Santosh Kumar Gangwar, Governor of Jharkhand.
माननीय मुख्यमंत्री मनोनीत श्री हेमंत सोरेन जी से अनुरोध है कि वे शपथ ग्रहण हेतु पधारेंगे।
मैं
अपना नाम
हेमंत सोरेन
सत्य निष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञा करता हूं कि
सत्य निष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञा करता हूँ
द्वारा स्थापित के संविधान के प्रति
मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं भारत की प्रभुता एवं अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा।
मैं झारखंड राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्धि अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगा तथा मैं भय या पक्षपात, अनुराग या द्वेष
के बिना
सभी प्रकार के
लोगों के प्रति
संविधान और विधि
के अनुसार न्याय करूंगा। मैं
अपना नाम
हेमंत सोरेन
सत्यनिष्ठा
से प्रतिज्ञा करता हूं कि
जो विषय
झारखंड के राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में मेरे विचार के लिए लाया जाएगा
अथवा
मुझे ज्ञात होगा
उसे किसी प्रकार
व्यक्ति या व्यक्तियों को
तब के सिवाय
जबकि ऐसे मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों के समय निर्वहन के लिए
ऐसा करना अपेक्षित
हो
मैं प्रत्यक्ष
अथवा अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से संसूचित या प्रकट नहीं करूंगा।
पहले साइन कर लीजिए।
माननीय राज्यपाल जी, कृपया समारोह के समापन की अनुमति दी जाए।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
सभी महानुभावों से अनुरोध है कि वे राष्ट्रगान हेतु अपने स्थान पर खड़े रहेंगे।
All right, visuals coming in from Jharkhand. In fact, the stage is lined up with all the main leaders from the India bloc. And Ritesh, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this as Hemant Soren takes oath as the Chief Minister of Jharkhand in the recently concluded assembly elections in the state. Ritesh, स्टेज पर इंडिया ब्लॉक का पूरा समर्थन, अखिलेश यादव, राहुल गांधी, अरविंद केजरीवाल, सारे बड़े दिग्गज नेता, भगवंत मान, सब अपना समर्थन और अपना सपोर्ट दिखाते हुए हेमंत सोरेन को।
अब बिल्कुल देखिए कि लोकसभा चुनाव के बाद हरियाणा का चुनाव देख लीजिए, बाकी चुनाव देख लीजिए, लगातार इंडिया अलायंस जो है वो बैकफुट पर जा रही थी, शिकस्त मिल रही थी। अब ऐसे में आप देखिए कि महाराष्ट्र में किस तरह से बीजेपी ने प्रदर्शन किया। अब झारखंड ने वो लाज बचा ली है इंडिया अलायंस की, और यही कारण है कि मोरहाबादी मैदान में इस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया गया है। और इंडिया अलायंस की जितनी भी बड़ी पार्टियां हैं, सभी के डेलीगेट, सभी के जो प्रमुख हैं वो लोग आ रहे हैं, चाहे राहुल गांधी हो, मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे हो, शरद पवार हो, ममता बनर्जी हो, भगवंत मान हो, अरविंद केजरीवाल हो, ये तमाम लोग एक मंच पर दिख रहे हैं। अखिलेश यादव हो, तेजस्वी यादव हो, और इसके पीछे की वजह यह है कि इस जीत को वो सेलिब्रेट करना चाहते हैं और इस जीत को वो कहीं ना कहीं दिखाना चाह रहे हैं कि इंडिया अलायंस में भी दम है और हमने कुछ करके दिखाया है। और देखिए कि मोरहाबादी मैदान में एक अच्छी तस्वीर निकलकर सामने आ रही है, जहां पर तमाम जो विपक्षी कुनबा है वो एक मंच पर जुटा हुआ है। लेकिन देखिए कि हेमंत सोरेन के सामने भी चुनौती है। भले ही वो राज्य के पहले मुख्यमंत्री हैं, जो लगातार दूसरी बार उनकी सरकार जो है वो वापस आ रही है और सत्ता में वो दोबारा एंट्री कर रहे हैं, चौथी बार वो मुख्यमंत्री पद की शपथ उन्होंने ली है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि आज देखिए कि ये हो जाना था कि कई सारे मंत्रियों को भी शपथ लेना था। इसके अलावा जो घटक दल हैं, चाहे कांग्रेस हो, वाम दल हो, इसके अलावा आरजेडी के भी मंत्रियों को शपथ दिलाई जाने वाली थी। लेकिन कांग्रेस में अभी तक आप देखिए कि जो सदन का नेता है उसका सिलेक्शन नहीं हो सका। कौन मंत्री बनेगा, क्योंकि जितने भी विधायक जीते हैं सभी की अपनी इच्छा है कि वो मंत्री बने, और यही नहीं कि वो मंत्री बने, उनके मंत्रालयों की डिमांड भी है। और इसे पाट पाना हेमंत सोरेन के लिए काफी मुश्किल हो रहा था, और यही कारण है कि उन्होंने अकेले ही शपथ लेना ज्यादा मुनासिब समझा। क्योंकि फिर अगर मंत्रालयों का जल्दी जल्दी गठन होता और मंत्रिमंडल विस्तार होता तो ये हेमंत सोरेन के लिए काफी चैलेंजिंग हो सकता था। और अभी भी ये चैलेंजिंग है, क्योंकि हमारे जो सोर्सेज हैं उनका साफ तौर पे कहना है कि कई सारे जो नेता हैं कांग्रेस के वो दिल्ली में डेरा डाले हुए हैं और उन्हें उम्मीद है कि जो पार्टी आला कमान है उन पर भरोसा जताएगी। हालांकि एक और हेमंत सोरेन की बात करें तो उनके सामने चुनौती है कि जितने मंत्री थे इनकी पिछली टर्म में सरकार में, वो सारे के सारे हार चुके हैं। ज्यादातर जो है उन्हें शिकस्त मिली है और जनता के बीच या विपक्षी पार्टियों के बीच एक अच्छा मैसेज नहीं गया है। और इसके बाद आप देखिए कि शपथ ग्रहण के बाद बीजेपी इस मुद्दे को भी जरूर उछालेगी और वो उछाल भी रही है। तो हेमंत सोरेन ने अकेले शपथ ली है, विपक्षी पार्टियों के सभी जो प्रमुख चेहरे हैं वो मंच पर मौजूद हैं। और सबसे अच्छी बात है कि भले ही दिशोम गुरु बीमार चल रहे हैं, लेकिन आज वो पहुंचे हुए हैं और उनकी झलक पाने के लिए, आप देखिए कि उनकी झलक पाने के लिए मोरहाबादी मैदान में भीड़ जो है वो उमड़ पड़ी है। क्योंकि दिशोम गुरु को लेकर झारखंड में लोगों में एक अलग क्रेज है, एक अलग सम्मान समर्पण है। और यही कारण है कि आप देखिए कि जो 56 सीटें आई हैं उसमें दिशोम गुरु का भी, भले ही वो सक्रिय तौर पर राजनीति में नहीं है, डायरेक्ट उनका इंटरवेंशन नहीं है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद उनके नाम से उनकी छवि लोग हेमंत सोरेन में देख रहे थे। और यही कारण है कि इतना बड़ा मैंडेट झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा को झारखंड की जनता ने दिया है। और ना सिर्फ आप देखिए कि मोरहाबादी मैदान में, बल्कि झारखंड के जो 81 विधानसभा सीटें हैं और जहां पर भी महागठबंधन के जो विधायक हैं वो चुनकर सदन में आए हैं, वहां भी व्यवस्था की गई है ताकि जो लोग रांची नहीं आ सकते हैं, मोरहाबादी मैदान में नहीं आ सकते हैं, वो लोग अपने अपने क्षेत्र, अपने अपने घरों से ही बैठकर इस कार्यक्रम को देख सकें। तो मैसेज देने की कोशिश है कि इंडी अलायंस भी मजबूत है। बीजेपी और उसके सहयोगी दलों को एक मैसेज दिया जा रहा है कि भले ही आप कुछ भी कहें चुनाव के दौरान, क्योंकि ये बातें उठी थी कि जिस तरह से मदद करनी चाहिए, जिस तरह से कैंपेन में राहुल गांधी या कांग्रेस के नेताओं को आना चाहिए था वो लोग नहीं आए, जिस तरह से सहयोग और समर्पण आरजेडी को दिखाना चाहिए था आरजेडी ने नहीं दिखाया। लेकिन हेमंत सोरेन ने अकेले दम पर, अपने दम पर आप देखिए कि किस तरह से उन्होंने पार्टी अपने खेमे में कर ली। और
चलिए
कारण है
रितेश,
कि
इस
अब
जानकारी के लिए
इस
हमारे साथ
जीत
जुड़ने
के
के
बाद
लिए।
सभी जो नेता हैं बस दिख रहे हैं।
All right, moving on, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has left from his residence in Thane for Delhi. He is expected to reach Delhi by 6:30 p.m. is what we are learning at this point in time. Anand, the suspense around who's going to be the next Mukhyamantri of Maharashtra still continues. What can we infer from this visit by Eknath Shinde as well as Mr. Fadnavis to Delhi?
Yeah, when it look the way in which Eknath Shinde yesterday announced his decision that he is not in the race of Chief Minister anymore, and whatever decision the senior BJP leadership will take, it will be acceptable to him and even his party leader. So clearly, even after the announcement was made by Eknath Shinde himself, the BJP is still to reveal its card, as the mystery over the CM face in Maharashtra has depend over here, because the BJP has not revealed the name, as it has even called Devendra Fadnavis along with the two of the Mahayuti alliance partners, that is Eknath Shinde and NCP leader Ajit Pawar, to the national capital. And Eknath Shinde had already left from his residence in Thane to take a flight for the national capital, and even Devendra Fadnavis has also arrived at the airport over here, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Airport in Mumbai. So both of them will be leaving for Delhi in the next few minutes, and they are scheduled to arrive in Delhi by 6:30 p.m. and then they will be meeting with Union Home Minister Amit Shah to discuss the new phase, the new CM phase for Maharashtra, and to also discuss the cabinet portfolios that they will be handling, they will be distributing over here to their alliance partners in Maharashtra over here. So clearly, the BJP is not yet announced that who will be its CM face, but yet there are speculations that Devendra Fadnavis is leading in the race for the chief ministerial post in
Anand,
Maharashtra.
stay with us. Well, the meeting of the three leaders of the Mahayuti with Union Home Minister Amit Shah will be taking place at 9:30 p.m. in Delhi today. Anand, do we have confirmation about this meeting? And do you think that this is perhaps going to be that final meeting in which, the grain is going to be separated from the chaff?
Yeah, look, this can be the final meeting, Vineet, even as there has been suspense on the CM phase for the last 5 days since the time when the counting of votes happened and the election results were announced in Maharashtra. So definitely, earlier also we saw that how Fadnavis went to Delhi to attend the reception of Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla over there. However, any meeting didn't take place on that very day because Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde were not traveling. So now both the alliance partner leaders are traveling to Mumbai today, from Mumbai to Delhi today. So definitely this will be the final meeting before the BJP makes the announcement. And even Vineet, we would like to tell our viewers that how the BJP is yet to hold the meeting of its newly elected MLAs to elect the leaders. So today only the BJP announced Arun Singh as its senior observer for Maharashtra. So after the meeting over there in Delhi, Arun Singh will be also arriving in Mumbai to hold that meeting with the newly elected MLAs to elect the leader. And then whatever name has been communicated to Arun Singh, that will be revealed over here. And then the next Maharashtra CM phase will be finalized, and the date of swearing in ceremony will also be held. And earlier the meeting was scheduled to be at 7 p.m. in the evening, but now that meeting has been rescheduled for 9:30 p.m. That is what we have learned from our sources in the BJP. Back to you, Vinay.
Anand, stay with us. In fact, Devendra Fadnavis has reached the Mumbai airport and he's going to leave for Delhi shortly. Ajit Pawar already is in Delhi. Mr. Shinde and Fadnavis are going to be reaching Delhi, and that is going to be the final huddle that is going to decide kaun banega Maharashtra का मुख्यमंत्री. Anand, the three bigwigs of the Mahayuti alliance meeting up with the Home Minister. Are there any other insights into what the new cabinet is also likely to look like?
Yeah, Vinit, look, even as all the three top leaders of Maharashtra are all set to arrive in the national capital, as it was Ajit Pawar who was first to arrive in the national capital. So clearly a detailed discussion will take over also on the cabinet portfolio distribution in Maharashtra. But as of now, what we have learned from our sources here in Mumbai, that the BJP will be getting the maximum checking of the cabinet portfolios. Out of 43, it will be getting 22 because it has got the largest number in the assembly, 132 out of 288 seats, and followed by the Shiv Sena Shinde faction, which has got 57 seats. And so Shinde faction will be getting 12 cabinet portfolios over here in the state, whereas the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP, along with the Deputy CM post, it will also get 9 cabinet portfolios in Maharashtra. So this is the development that we have got to know through our sources. And beside this, the even discussion will take place on which department or which portfolio will be handed over to which party over here in Maharashtra, because a crucial discussion is going to take place at the residence of Amit Shah, where all these decisions will be settled once all the three leaders of Mahayuti alliance all sits all together with Amit Shah for a deliberate discussion on the same issue. Back to you.
All right. Well, just to refresh what we have been talking about, viewers, Anand, my colleague, is with me. The decision on who's going to be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra, in all likelihood, will be taken today. Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, Mr. Eknath Shinde, and Mr. Ajit Pawar are catching up with the Home Minister at 9:30 p.m. today to decide what the next steps are going to be. There are murmurs, there are in fact rumors that Devendra Fadnavis is going to be back on the top job. And NCP Chief Ajit Pawar has slammed the Mahavikas Aghadi again. He has stated that in the Parliament election, the EVM was fine because the result was in their favor. In his further note, he also added that we will fight and we will achieve success. Anand, my colleague, still with us. Anand, obviously bit bizarre that just a few months ago the same EVMs were used for the Lok Sabha elections as well, which went in favor of the Mahavikas Aghadi, and now when they have lost, they are perhaps blaming the EVMs for some kind of a disruption in the results. This is obviously not a good plank to be fighting on.
Yeah, look, Vinit, the way in which Ajit Pawar today slammed the Mahavikas Aghadi leader, it was all because most of the Mahavikas Aghadi leaders were blaming the EVM for such a poor show in Maharashtra, where the Mahayuti, led by the BJP, which also consisted of Shiv Sena Shinde faction and NCP Ajit Pawar faction, they got a historic mandate in the state by winning 230 out of 288 seats. So clearly, Ajit Pawar mentioned that how the same EVMs were used during the Lok Sabha polls, where the Mahavikas Aghadi partners, they had performed very well by winning 31 out of 48 Lok Sabha seats. However, when they couldn't perform during the assembly elections poll, they started putting blame on the EVMs. And he questioned that why now such kind of behavior by the Mahavikas Aghadi leaders, as when they win, they remain silent, whereas when they lose, they start questioning the EVMs. So now looking at the way in which Mahavikas Aghadi leaders are questioning the EVMs, they are claiming that at several of the booths, several thousands of votes were extra, which were there in the poll data that was shared by the Election Commission. However, this all has been
all right.
disputed.
Anand, appreciate you joining us. We have some breaking news coming in now. Abu Dhabi's international holding company, one of the largest sovereign funds that manages assets close to $100 billion, has reaffirmed its support to the Adani Group, saying its outlook on investments in the group remains unchanged despite the US indictment of the conglomerate's founder chairman Gautam Adani. They said, and I quote, "Our partnership with the Adani Group reflects our confidence in their contributions to the green energy and sustainability sectors." IHC, one of Adani Group's key foreign investors, said in a statement, as well as with all our investments, our team continues to evaluate relevant information and development. At this time, our outlook on these investments remains unchanged. Brian Thomas, my colleague, joins us to talk more about this. Brian, this is good news coming in for the Adani Group. Obviously, there was a lot of backlash. There were a lot of detachments after Gautam Adani and his son were indicted in New York. But this seems to be a good sign of relief.
We need now Abu Dhabi's international holding company, which is a sovereign fund managing nearly around 100 billion USD in assets, has now reiterated its support for the Adani Group. Now, yes, there have been, despite recent US charges also against the conglomerate's founder chairman Gautam Adani, now IHC has stated that its investment outlook remains unchecked, and their partnership with the Adani Group also underscores their confidence also in their contributions to green energy and even sustainability. Now, IHC has, invested $500 million US each in Adani Green Energy and Adani Transmission also in April 2022, along with $1 billion US in Adani Enterprises as well. And this statement also, follows clarification from the Adani Group also on the recent US Department of Justice indictment, and the group also rather emphasized that neither Gautam Adani nor his, aides were charged under the US Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. And even the group dismissed allegations that the Agile executive paid, $265 million US in bribes to secure the solar power contracts as well, and says that these claims are nothing but, baseless as well. And even the international partners have also expressed their continued support for the Adani Group's global ventures as well.
Taking a short break on that note, be right back.
एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स हाईली प्रोफेशनल बंदे हायर कीते ने, चाहे वो लॉ अफसर होण, चाहे वो फोरेंसिक दे होण, चाहे होर जांच दे अधिकारी होण, ते अपनी होणगे इन्हां दे।
भगवंत सिंह मान जी की जो एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स है, इसमें कन्विक्शन रेट इज़ एज हाई एज 81%। व्हाट्सएप चैटबोट एंटी ड्रग हेल्पलाइन जिसका नाम है सेफ पंजाब, भगवंत सिंह मान जी ने इसीलिए लॉन्च करी थी कि लोगों को हमसे भी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है कि कौन नशा बेच रहा है, कहाँ बेच रहा है। 457 पे एक्शन भी लिया जा चुका है, जैसे कि रेड करना उनके घर पे या फिर FIR करना।
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਨਤ ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੀਰੋ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
ਲਾਅ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। 3.5 ਕਰੋੜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ, ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ।
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann, the Punjab government has a zero tolerance policy against drugs. Another strict step by the Punjab government, Safe Punjab, anti-drug helpline and WhatsApp chatbot. For complaints, message us at 97791 00200. Join us in the fight against drugs.
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
ਇਸ ਵਾਰ SSF ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की, पर अब एक कॉल करो बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है एक सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है SSF is just a call away.
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
Always prepared for their duty, with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था।
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. The Uttar Pradesh police has now released images and photos of Sambal rioters and a massive manhunt has been launched. Till now, there are 27 rioters that have been arrested. There are 7 FIRs that have now been filed. The CCTV visuals showed rioters pelting stones and a mob of several people running and targeting the survey team. NewsX team on the ground has also seen broken CCTVs indicating deliberate sabotage in the violent event that took place. There are 2 prime accused named in the case: Samajwadi Party MP Ziaur Rahman Bark and son of MLA Iqbar Mahmood Sohail Mahmood, who allegedly visited the mosque days before the survey and incited the mobs. There are 4 people that have been killed in this violence, and police autopsy has revealed that the deaths happened due to bullets fired by the country-made guns that were allegedly used by the rioters. With Sambal returning to normalcy, the question remains, who were these rioters and who was the mastermind behind this violence? I'm going to start my conversation, and joining me on the telecast right now is Ranjan Dwivedi. He is the former DG of Uttar Pradesh Police. Ranjan Dwivedi, I understand the job of the law and order enforcement agencies is to ensure that there is peace and harmony in the region, in the state, in the district, wherever the law and order agencies are deployed. It's an unfortunate incident that has taken place. This has been the outcome of a court verdict which ordered the survey of the Shahi Jama Masjid in Sambal. When the survey was being conducted, there is a mob that has come down on the streets. Whether it was orchestrated or not is something that is being delved upon. Do you think the genesis of this mob violence was the fact that there was a court-ordered survey that had been initiated, and again, it leads to communal violence and the communal disharmony in the country?
Megha, thank you very much for inviting me to this debate, or a discussion rather, on a very sensitive and important subject. Now, I've been SSP Moradabad and SPRA Moradabad also many years ago, and Sambal was always an extremely community sensitive town. It was always very sensitive, and even in normal days, people would start their shops, open their shops around 10-11 a.m. after seeing that everything is all right and there is no sensitivity brewing up. So it was that bad, and I'm talking about 83, 84, and then again in 95. So now, and if the court has ordered anything which has to do with the place of worship, you can well imagine that it would necessarily vitiate the atmosphere quite a lot, and places a great responsibility on the administration and the police to ensure that whatever is required, and these are normal standard practices, that you talk to communities, you hold back people who are troublemakers, you maybe in today's times, when social media is so important, you suspend internet, not after the incident, but even maybe before the incident. But then have enough communication channels open so that people know what's happening. I mean, it shouldn't happen that videos and internet is stopped, and all kind of rumors go around. See, it's a double-edged weapon, stopping internet. But then, these cautions should have been taken and adequate force should have been deployed for this kind of thing to happen. Because you could have well expected that a huge mob will collect and there would be, very, very real fear of imminent violence. So I think the preparation should have been much stronger.
Okay, all right. I have with me right now Faizan Kidwani. Beg your pardon, Faizan Kidwai. He is the spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Faizan, there are two prime accused who have been named in the FIR. One is the Samajwadi Party MP Ziaur Rahman Bark and the son of MLA Iqbal Mahmood, whose name is Sohail Mahmood. What do you have to say about this violence that has taken place and the accusation that has been made on these two Samajwadi Party leaders? Please unmute yourself, Faizan.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So I'd start by good evening to all the fellow panelists and to you too. See, this is the tactic of Bharatiya Janata Party. They want to create false cases against the opposition party members. See, Mr. Burke and the MLA son, they were not present at the site when on the 24th. When the riots happened. And prior to that, on 19th, first of all, I heard you saying that they have been booked for inciting violence even before the survey started. Firstly, nobody knew that the survey is going to happen. Secondly, it was Mr. Barr because of whom the survey happened peacefully. So the credit should be given to him. It's the Bharatiya Janata Party which is using its unethical intentions to create a riot-like situation in Uttar Pradesh for political benefits. Now, ma'am, there's just one thing I would want to ask everybody. When the Places of Worship Act is in place and as per the Supreme Court that after Ayodhya judgment, the character of places of worship won't change anymore, then how come Vishnu Jain, who first of all happens to be a government lawyer, is a public prosecutor, he goes to the courts and within a few hours he gets the order to conduct a survey? How did this happen? First of all, there are 4.8 crore cases pending in India. I hope the honorable courts could show the same alacrity everywhere. Then within a fortnight, all the cases will be sorted out and something good will happen for the people who are waiting for justice. So in this case, madam, first of all, the Masjid Committee wasn't taken into consideration. Apart from violation of Places of Worship Act, this also goes against the provision of Civil Procedure Code 27. Then Order 39 Rule 1, which says order can be passed only after listening to both the sides. This didn't happen. Order 8 Rule 1, it says you have to give defendant 30 days time, which could be extended to 90 days. Did this happen? Order 1, Rule 10, it says the Mosque Committee was not made a party to the case before issuing the survey order. And madam, I also would want to make it clear here, this is the person along with Vishnu Jain who was there. He's a local priest from a nearby temple. What was his purpose being with Vishnu Jain? Why were communal slogans, hateful slogans being chanted? This is also something which the Uttar Pradesh government and Vishnu Jain should answer.
Okay.
This Vishnu Jain, may I just complete this point also? Vishnu Jain is a plaintiff in the case. How can he be part of a team which is going for the survey? This raises serious concerns regarding conflict for interest. It also violates the principles of natural justice, madam. Neo judex in casa sua, which means that one cannot be a judge in its own case.
Okay.
Mr. Vishnu Jain couldn't have been there because he cannot be a part of the investigation or the decision-making team, but he was present.
Yeah,
so
okay,
this
you've made
categorically
your point.
violates a lot of...
You've made your point. Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, spokesperson of the BJP, on the telecast with me as well. Dr. Mishra, would you like to respond to what Faizan Kidwai has said?
Megha, good evening to everyone and to you too. And I have heard Mr. Faizan Kidwai, and he took out so many legal things in this case. The main case was that it is a civil procedure case. No notice was issued. If a plaintiff come to court, he asks for something, court said, okay, whatever you are saying,
No.
we have to investigate. That is what is survey. It was in the stage of investigation, and I think a learned judge, learned advocate is sitting. He may put more light on this issue. It is a legal situation. It was not a notice, but fortunately, Masjid committee was present in the court. The notice, the survey notice was given to him. Their written signed copy is available on the website and everywhere in the media. It is received by the Masjid committee on the first day when the surveys was conducted. He is saying that no member of parliament and his MLA son was not there. No, they both are present on the 19th. And
24th, they weren't present when the communal flare-up happened.
I have not spoken in between you. I have specified
No, I'm
clearly.
correcting you.
I'm correct. I said on the 19th. I have not said anything about 24th now.
The 19th communal flare-up didn't happen, sir.
So because they are the bosses. They are the bosses.
Who are the bosses? Who are the bosses?
You're member of parliament and son of my MLA. Listen to
Who's
me.
bosses?
Megha, is this the way in which the discussion will go?
Okay, Dr. Mishra, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So both are present. My first question to him, in what authority they are there? Is their name was in the survey team? No. Then why they are there? This is one. Two. Akhilesh Yadav tweeted a tweet, a video, short clipping of video in which some people are chanting the Jai Shri Ram, and he is saying that the Jai Shri Ram is provocative. My question to my friend that if the Jai Shri Ram is provocative, then what about Naraya Takbir Allah Akbar? What about Sar Tan Se Juda? 5 times Ajan every day.
Dr. Mishra, you know, my question is not, let's over here, of course, I'm going to say a blame game will happen.
No, I'm not just blaming him.
There is political
Megha,
vested
listen
interest.
to me.
No, Dr. Mishra, what I want to know is that could this mob violence, could this rioting have been averted? Because like I said, the genesis of this rioting that has taken place, that has led to the death of a number of people, is this survey that was ordered by the court, and therefore when we talk about the Worship Act, should every single mosque be dug up to find out that it's a temple, and should the courts and the judiciary be cognizant that this is a communally sensitive matter and therefore apply their prudence to then pass judgments such as this?
Megha, first of all, no judgment was passed by the court. This was just in the stage of investigation. 1. 2. If you are talking about Worship Act, okay, the places of Worship Act clearly says if any site is under the ASI protected monument, this is not applied. This site was ASI protected, which was snatched away by the Masjid committee under the rule of Samajwadi Party before 2017. This is a real fact. Third, if you ask, DGP sir is saying communally sensitive towns. Sir, may I ask, what is the definition of communally sensitive town? Is it not that wherever the population of so-called minority, where the infiltration is more, where the Bangladeshis are residing, where the more Rohingyas are residing, where the more, because I have seen the list, it's all, wherever the population.
Megha, please give me time to interject. He's making all sorts of inflammatory wrong
points. Nothing. It is clear. What is sensitive? I am asking, what is the sensitive places? Wherever the population of Muslims community is more, including Rohingya, Bangladeshi infiltrates, everywhere. It is a community sensitive place.
Yes, Faizan, you want to make a point?
Yes. So he raised this point that they were raising slogans of Jai Shri Ram. How can you say it's provocative? Of course not. But when there's a communally charged sensitive area, some surveys happening. So if you raise religious slogans, you are inciting people.
No, it was
you are asking for trouble. No. What response I have seen the videos. No one video is present. See, in today's day and age, people record videos. Show me the video where they're saying Nare Takbir Allah Akbar. So, first of all, stop making false allegations, sir. And you said, what right Burke had to be there, what right Vishnu Jain has to be there when he's a plaintiff. How can he be a part? How can he be a part? Let me complete. How can he be? Courts cannot make him a part of the survey team. It goes against, it violates the principles of natural justice. He cannot be there.
You mentioned that point. I'm going to bring in Deshathan Nigam into the conversation. And Deshathan Nigam, my only concern over here is, and I have done this too many times in my debate shows and seen what has happened in the past. There have been a number of surveys that have been ordered by the courts where erstwhile there used to be a temple in existence. The question again being asked, how many mosques are going to be dug up and communally sensitive issues be raised in a manner such as this that will then inevitably lead to mob violence and rioting that took place?
Well, Megha, let me tell you, there is no bar in law in applying to the courts for the surveys. If there is a dispute on a subject, only courts are capable of adjudicating on the subject. There is no bar. As many mosques or temples have to be brought in, people can bring in. This is the beauty of our constitution. You can't say how many will be looked into. Initially, if you recall, Hindus only wanted 3 sites. None was given. Therefore, and I had said on your TV show also in previous, that since you don't give those 3 sites, there will be in every city, every state.
No, but then are you saying this is with vengeance that the Hindus are coming out in numbers and opening these cases and appealing to the courts to order surveys taking place on mosques or any other place of worship?
Megha, let me tell you, these are constitutional and legal rights of the citizens that cannot be trampled upon. To approach the court and to ask for adjudication of their own disputes. It is in pursuance of that dispute, the court appointed the commission under section 75 and order 26. And let me tell you one thing. As a lawyer, we have seen stay being given in the absence of another party, commissions being appointed in the absence of other parties. It happens very regularly. It is not an isolated or exceptional case. And as a lawyer, let me vouch for that. So, and secondly, a conspirator need not be present at the site of the rioting. He can do it from a long distance. He may not be present, and we have seen cases.
Why is it that we see a spate of these cases being highlighted in the course of the last few years? Why has this not happened previously? Why is it that there is only one individual who's a counsel who continues to raise these issues and file complaints and file petitions in court?
Let me tell you one thing. Why do Samajwadi parties, Aam Aadmi Party only go to Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Manu Singhvi? Please tell me that. So he has a constitutional right. If somebody approaches him and he has become popular for taking up causes like that, and therefore if somebody approaches him and he wants to take up the case, he can. He's free to take up any case he wants to. You cannot restrict a lawyer's right to choose a case. That is what I also do as a lawyer.
And why is it that the frequency of such cases is now much higher than it was previously?
I'll answer that, Megha. When people become aware, and there are courts also have started, intervening in things where they think there are prima facie dispute and there is a requirement of an inquiry and investigation as provided under the law, they will issue a commission.
But okay, it's an open question that I ask. Is this issue being brought in the court of law and demanding and seeking that there be a survey conducted at a place of worship akin to inciting communal violence? Can it not be read like this? Because me as a lay person sitting over here, it makes absolute sense that if there is going to be a mosque, and there has been in the past, in the history of our country, a Hindu-Muslim communal, a sensitive, highly charged up atmosphere in the past as well, and it happens today as well in certain pockets, certain areas of our country. Would it not be judicious once again for the court of law, for the judges to understand it and take a prudent call as to whether this could turn into something which is going to be difficult to roll back?
Megha, prudence is governed by law in a court of law. It is not on the whims and fancies of a judge or a lawyer. There is a well-guided law, there is established law, there are precedents, and then there is an interpretation of statutes which are involved. And therefore, prudence of a judge is circumscribed by the law of the land and the constitution. So to say that a judge should act beyond the law, use some extra perception or prudence, that liberty a judge does not have. He is to be guided by law, written law, codified law, and therefore he is going as per the law of the land and the freedom of the lawyers to choose their own case and the freedom of the parties to institute a case in a court of law.
Okay.
And again, let me just finish. Now, as you know, I was in the forefront in the, whether it was a Ram Mandir case or Kashi Vishwanath case, and I've done thousands of TV debates on that. First, you have to identify what is a mosque under Islam, and I'm very clear on that. I've done my research on that. Is a place which is converted or destroyed and then forcibly occupied and then made into a mosque. Under Islam, it is not a mosque. And I've talked to a lot of Islamic scholars, and they agree, and they have been on your TV show and debates on a number of channels, and they have said so, quoting the various scriptures also. And the very fact that Muslims should come forward, first acknowledge that this was destroyed, then they can sit across the table. Once you deny the very fact that it was destroyed, a temple was destroyed where Kalki Avatar is supposed to come, the 10th avatar of Vishnu. And there are signs, and those pillars have been plastered also.
Okay.
And in
But
fact,
then, even if,
in fact,
I don't
one
know.
more fact.
Yes, you talk
one
about
more fact.
Ayodhya, you talk about Kashi Vishwanath, you talk about Krishna Janmabhoomi, which there has been a case about there's a survey conducted at Qutub Minar as well. And now that, it's been well established that they were Hindu religious idols, there were temple ruins that had been found in all these places after the survey was completed. Then what?
See, then what? Then that is where first the acknowledgement, then the parties, sensible people from both the sides can sit down. It can be open for both. This place was open for both. As pointed out by Mr. Kaushal, it was subsequently taken over. Hindus were stopped from going there. And therefore, parties and some kind of a way can be found out. But if you try to cover up things, if you try to prevent an access of Hindus to a place which was actually a temple, and very important temple where in our Veds and Purans it is given that Kalki Avatar has come, even other religions also follow.
But sitting here over here, seeing it from afar, I just have to say, and with complete helplessness, that is there an end to this? I mean, how many hundreds and thousands of temples that have been ruined to build mosques or any other structures? How many of them are going to be accounted for? Are you saying that the temples are going to be rebuilt and the mosques are again going to be destroyed and desecrated, and on the ruins of the mosques again are the temples going to be built? I'm going to close my conversation and once again getting in Ranjan Dwivedi into the conversation with me. Ranjan Dwivedi, law and order agencies, their job is to ensure that there are no untoward incidents that take place. But when an atmosphere is created which becomes vicious, when there is a Hindu-Muslim divide that is sort of amplified as well, simply because there are political vested interests that lie for these politicians, for these political leaders to then help get their vote banks, help in appeasement politics. What is it that the law and order agencies can really do?
Yeah, I mean, a few issues I'd like to point out from a professional administrative point of view. The first is that we must understand that the common people have a certain interpretation of what is their place of worship. There's a legalistic interpretation, there's a common people's interpretation. That's one. And as the honorable lawyer said, that everybody has got a right in constitution to agitate whatever they want in front of a court.
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
इस बार SSF करके ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की, पर अब एक कॉल करो, बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है एक सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है SSF is just a call away.
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
Always prepared for their duty, with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था।
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
Welcome back. We start with some breaking news coming in. The Supreme Court has issued an order on air pollution in Delhi NCR. GRAP 4 will remain applicable in Delhi and the surrounding areas for now, and it will remain in the Delhi NCR till Monday is what we are learning in all matters except schools. Sambhav Sharma, my colleague, joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Sambhav, if you can hear me?
Yes.
Sambhav, of course, the Supreme Court is right. The Delhi government, the central government and the surrounding states have not been able to, control the kind of pollution that is still deadly, it is still poisonous, it is still wreaking havoc with the lungs of people residing in Delhi NCR. The Supreme Court had no choice but to extend this inconvenience, for a number of reasons. But more so, this inconvenience, Sambhav, has a price to pay as well. There is an economic loss every time any of the GRAP measurements are put in place.
Well, yes, of course, and in a very important hearing on Delhi pollution, the Supreme Court bench led by Justice A.S. Oka again questioned the authorities over the lapses in following the norms of GRAP 4 and said very clearly that they are not going to curb this GRAP 4 rules till December 2nd, that is next Monday, when Supreme Court is to hear this matter again. And only there is some relaxation in the schools as the school going kids, if they want to go to school, because many of the kids in Delhi NCR are poor and they do not have two meals a day. So many of the kids, school going kids, they have their meals in the school as midday meal. So in this backdrop, this relaxation of the GRAP 4 rules are there for school going kids and not in other activities, and especially the construction activities. It is completely banned, and the GRAP 4 rules should be followed, adhered to, and the authorities who are not following them, and especially the officials who are responsible for making the people, or rather the industry, fall in line to the GRAP 4 rules. If they are not following it, then as per the rule of law, there should be action against those authorities and those officials, and Supreme Court is very strict and saying that CAQM and other authorities should take action against the officials who are not following this.
All right, Sambhav, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for that update. All right, moving on. Well, a court in Rajasthan's Ajmer has issued notices to the Archaeological Survey of India and the centre following a petition that claims that there is a Shiv temple in the Dargah of Sufi Saint Muinuddin Chishti in Ajmer. The petition filed in September has asked the court to allow worship at the spot again. Vishnu Gupta, chief of the right-wing group Hindu Sena, who is the petitioner in the case involving Ajmer Sharif, said, and I quote, "Our demand was that the Ajmer Dargah should be declared as Sankat Mochan Mahadev Temple." The petition cites a book by retired judge Harvilas Sharda, written in 1911, and says Hindu carvings and iconography are visible around the Ajmer Dargah, including on the Buland Darwaza. The book, Ajmer Historical and Descriptive, claims that debris from a Shiv temple was used in building the Dargah. The petition also alleges that a Jain temple existed within the sanctum sanctorum of the site. Yes, temples have been destroyed in North India, but do we need to dig everywhere is the big question. Another big question that comes up is, as a row erupts over the Ajmer Dargah, how do we solve this as one India? The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh Chief Mohan Bhagwat said that there is no need to rake up more controversy over places of worship. Let's listen in first to what he said.
अपनी संविधान सम्मत न्याय व्यवस्था को पवित्र सर्वश्रेष्ठ मानकर उसके निर्णय हमको पालन करने चाहिए। उनके निर्णयों पर प्रश्न चिन्ह नहीं लगाना चाहिए। ठीक है, प्रतीकात्मक कुछ हमारी विशेष श्रद्धा थी, ऐसे स्थानों के बारे में हमने कहा, लेकिन रोज एक मामला निकालना नया, ये भी नहीं करना चाहिए। हमको झगड़ा क्यों बढ़ाना है?
All right, let's talk about this. Sumit Peer, political commentator, senior political commentator with us on the show. Major Muhammad Ali Shah, defense expert, also joins us on the program. Tahira Hassan, activist, is joining us on the show as well. Advocate Naveen Chomal, senior lawyer, with us on the program as well. Sumit Peer, regardless of the facts that I have narrated in my opening monologue, Mr. Bhagwat has a very important point. He said, "Hame jhagda nahi badhana chahiye." You know, obviously there are two sides to this. One is, of course, the historical correctness that a number of people are trying to seek. And on the other side, you have peace, you have getting along, you have unity, you have the secular fabric of India, which definitely gets disrupted every time something like this comes up. We have seen this in the case of Babri, we have seen this in the case of Gyan Vapi, we saw it very, very recently in UP as well. What do you make of this tug of war between the petitioner and, of course, the historical experts who will say that, you know, there was nothing of this sort and we will get into a legal entanglement for years and years on, but the struggle as well as the friction between these two communities, perhaps in a peaceful place like Ajmer, will be intensified. What's your take on this, Sumit Peer?
Vineet, thank you for having me on your show. It's a very important subject. Look, there are two aspects to it. First aspect is what you see and what you believe, and what you don't see and you still believe. So there are some places where you see. I mean, if you look at the Gyanvapi, you don't need a ASI. Even you and me can go and see what it is. If you look at the Mathura, no need of a ASI. Eyes can tell you what it is. If you look at some of the architectures wherein the eye can see it. Respected Mohan Bhagwat ji said, let's not try to look for a shivling in any mosque. That is where there are no evidence. I mean, we should not keep on digging and trying to find was there a shivling ever there. But he never said, wherever it is visible, wherever you can see it, close your eyes. Don't call it a day. No. The Muslim community did not show magnanimity. There was a time when I was on your channel, I said, yeah, Mathura, Kashi and 3-4 places are there, Ayodhya, let's settle it, then possibly the things can kind of, be at par. Though I'm nobody to represent the Hindu community, but that was a suggestion on a national TV. That could be an amicable way. But the Muslim side said, look, we have a right to go to the court and we'll go to the court and let the courts decide. So if the Muslim community has a right to go to the court and let the courts decide, then likewise Hindu community has a right to go to the court and let the courts decide. I was telling on that, it was 2 years back on NewsX, I said then there are 40,000 such cases. If we start opening the Pandora's box, one day thousands of such cases will open up. Because it's up to you, what do you want to do now?
Isn't that the big question, Sumit? How many cases will you rake up and how many resolutions would you expect? What does that do to the community?
You see, Vineet, there are some cases, wherein there is no visible evidence. But there are some cases which are very important. Like Sambal is the place where the Kalki Avatar is supposed to come. Now, I don't want to get into the history, but the biggest Deg in Ajmer Sharif, why was that gifted by Akbar and what did Akbar achieve before gifting that Deg? It is documented history. So I'm not trying to flare up sentiments here, but if you read into the history, you know why it was gifted. So there is a lot of sweat and blood. There are a lot of atrocities which have happened at that time. So if Muslims have a right to go to the courts and ask for justice, I believe Hindus have equal right to go to the courts and ask for justice. And before my co-panelists bring the place of worship act, Vineet. One thing I've been trying to clear on various TV channels and YouTube channels is that there's a clear provision in this act. If fundamentally the nature of the place has changed, then a survey can be done. It is not covered by that act. That is why all the courts are allowing for these surveys to happen, because there's a pravdan or a provision within the act which allows for those surveys to happen. That is why even if in the Gyan Bapi case, it went up to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court said yes, a survey has to happen. Ultimately, if something is not agreed, I mean, it cannot be that for the peace and harmony, I will go to the court and you say you sit back and settle back. Either something comes amicably, which was not done, or then let the courts decide. I mean, अब 4 हो या 400 case हो या 4000 case हो, how does it matter? It might not happen in your and my lifetime, but someday it will happen. That is what the people will tell you. So this is, it will go.
All right, let me also rope in Major Mohammad Ali Shah, and let me tell you why Mohammad Ali Shah is here. Ali, your grandfather, Mr. Ali Muhammad Shah, was the administrator for the Ajmer Dargah. In fact, Ali, there was a buzz of you also taking on that same position just a few months ago, which is the committee last year. What do you make of what's going on right now? You know, there is obviously a history attached to Ajmer Sharif, but the Hindus say that there is a history prior to the history attached to the Muslim community when it comes to the Dargah. It's obviously a very sensitive matter, but the court in Rajasthan, has sent this matter forward to the ASI and the central government. They want to probe the matter. Where do we go from here?
Right, Vineet, thank you very much for having me on your show on a very, very sensitive and a pertinent subject. Firstly, let me tell our audience that Ajmer Sharif Dargah is a very, very secular place where not only Muslims, but even Hindus from not just India, from all over the world, they come and they visit.
Valid point.
Yes. So they come from all over the world, and it is a very, very sacred place which has its own sanctity. Now, when a case like this comes up, I mean, people internationally, globally will say they have right to go to the court. Anyone has a right to go to the court. It's okay. But what if the court rules out that the appeal was a frivolous appeal? What if? I am no one to decide whether it is or it's not. The court comes out with that. Then what happens? Then the entire credibility is lost, which means thereafter people will only say that, oh, first Ram Mandir, then Gyan Bapi, then Mathura, then Kashi, then something on the other, Sambal, and now Ajmer is Dargah. So, in fact, if you see in Islam, there is no concept in Islam where people actually worship a Dargah, or pray to Dargah, or offer namaz to the Dargah, to the shrine per se. They offer namaz to the mosque, alright. Now, as per what I know, the history that I know, if it has to be changed, that's a different story altogether, but the history that I know, that it was that Ajmer Sharif Dargah, or the Dargah Ajmer Sharif, it's a shrine to the famous Sufi Moinuddin Chishti, Khwaja Gharib Nawaz, from 1141 AD to 1236 AD, located in Ajmer Sharif, which we all know, and in Rajasthan, which is now the construction of the Dargah. It was started by Iltutmish and completed during the reign of Humayun. Now the main gate of Ajmer Sharif, the Dargah, is called Nizam Gate. Now, because it was built in 1911 by Mir Osman Ali Khan, who was then the Nizam of Hyderabad State, and after this comes the Shahjahani Gate, built by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. Now finally this comes as the Buland Darwaza is there, which was built by Sultan Mahmud Khilji. Now this Buland Darwaza is different than the Buland Darwaza in Fatehpur Sikri. That's a different one. Now that is the history we have learnt in school, and now on which the flag of this is hoisted every year, which is on the occasion of the Urs, which Khwaja Chishti, and the ceremony begins from there. Now, this, as I mentioned earlier, that about Ajmer, that's the history we know. Now, it's a new turn that we have heard. Well, they have a right to appeal to the court, okay, but again I'm saying, what if the court declines that appeal and says the appeal is frivolous? The entire credibility is lost. And in fact, my grandfather, Ali Muhammad Shah, he did a lot.
But have you heard of these claims in the past, Ali? Have you heard of these claims in the past, or is this the first time you heard something like this? Okay. Let me also rope in Tahira Hassan into this conversation as well. Tahira ji, how do you think it's important to address this concern? How do you think it's important to historically set a perspective as well? And how do we align to the fact that yes, there were wrongs that were committed in the past by rulers from the past, and those wrongs, if they are in fact changed or they're converted into a right, will have a price to pay. There will be a cost attached to that.
No, I just want to ask one thing, that we have been living, peacefully, peaceful coexistence, and how these things started all of a sudden now. And this Dargah, Moinuddin Chishti's Dargah, is the only Dargah in India, that is governed by the article, Moinuddin Chishti, Article 1955. And this act was, passed in the parliament and is governed by the government act. So how this come? And from the first Prime Minister of independent India, from Nehru ji to Modi ji, they all offered chadar on this. And it was made in the time of Mughal time, but after this Marathas also respected it like anything. And it is not only for the Muslims. Doors are open for all religion in respect to whatever caste is there or religion is there. It's open. They spread, these Sufis spread only love, unity. So in this way we are damaging, whoever is doing is damaging the secular fabric of our country. This is not only question of the Worship Act, but it is the question of Dargah Act 1955 also. You are not going to pay respect to any act. These acts, this act was to passed in the parliament, not on the street. And you already quoted that Mohan Bhagwat ji, chief of the RSS, that said, why to look Shrin in every mosque? Except Hindu Muslim, both should accept the reality of historical reality and go for the amicable solution. So I am seeing how much mandir we will discover in these mosques or in dargahs. Is there any stop? Where are we going to stop? Why no priority on the other things? Like put the emphasis on youth employment, the women issues. We must discuss these things.
Okay, all right. But this is also important, Advocate Chomal, in terms of the legality that has been put forth to the Archaeological Survey of India as well as the centre. What is the probability that this case is going to see the light at the end of the tunnel?
See, continuing what Sumit ji was very rightly saying, let us come to the legalities first. Much has been said about the Places of Worship Act. So let me dispel the erroneous notion and let me inform that Section 3 has a clause where therefore it says very categorically, Section 4 has a clause 3 which says that nothing contained in subsection 1 and 2 shall apply to any place of worship referred to in the above subsections, which is an ancient and historical monument or an archaeological site or remains covered by the ancient monuments and archaeological sites and remains. So please appreciate that there is a categorical proof that prior to the Dargah which was constructed at the site, there existed a Prachin Shiv Mandir and it has all the ancient monuments over there. And our history is very clear that within the Hindu community there are various temples together. So there is in the Sanctum Sanctorum there is also a Jain Mandir situated. So you please appreciate that what Muslims tried to do that time, like as it was said in Sholay, ek galati ki Thakur Sahab. So the galti Muslimanon ne ye ki thi, wherever they constructed the mosques and dargahs, they partly destroyed the mandirs and let the remains be there to be visible to the Hindus as a day in day out atrocities of Hindus, that just look, your mandir is there, the remains of your mandir are there, and on top of that we have built our mosques or dargahs. So exactly same thing has occurred here. There are remains of the ancient Hindu mandir. It is the archaeological site of Shiv Mandir Purana on which the dargah was built. So naturally there is a proof, and that historian what is his name, Hari Bilas Sadaji has also very rightly in 1911 in his book written details about this particular shrine, and since then it has been contested by the Hindu side even prior to the partition also. So you please appreciate that court has very rightly considered the facts of the case, and in the petition of 38 pages, in the suit of 38 pages, as many 38 instances have been cited that this shows that there was a Hindu mandir over there. This shows that there was Hindu mandir over there. So court has very wisely considered all those aspects and not jumped to the order. But court has very wisely ordered that there be survey by the Archaeological Survey of India. And you know, Archaeological Survey of India has been very fair. In fact, for the Ram Janmabhoomi case, one of the head was a Muslim gentleman, but he was very honest to the nation. He did not want to succumb to the Muslim pressure, but he gave testimony in favor of Ram Mandir. So we respect all our like-minded Muslim brothers also who want justice to be done to our Hindu community. And this case also, the Archaeological Survey of India will definitely conduct a very fair survey and submit a report to the court.
Okay.
And we Hindus are law-abiding people. We are not like Muslims who will resort to violence all the time. So what our co-panelists are threatening that why should we provoke violence, why should we provoke violence? Means why should the Muslim community always resort to violence? I am asking. They should go by court's order. Let the court decide very fairly. If the court finds that yes, there is an ancient Shiv Mandir, and let the Shiv Mandir be restored, fine.
Okay.
If
Okay.
the court
Let's-
says
let's-
no, it should not
let's-
be done,
let's-
we will
let's-
abide by the court's order.
Let's bring in Sumit Peer into this conversation once again. Sumit, in fact, the plaintiff has also alleged that historical accounts of the architecture feature designs and carvings which resemble Hindu temple structures. They also say that a shivling exists in the underground passage within the Dargah complex. Keeping in mind, what happened in UP and keeping in mind what happened with Gyanvapi or what is happening at Gyanvapi as well, and what we see in Rajasthan today with the Ajmer-e-Sharif. And of course, we are in the middle of the winter session as well. The Waqf Board bill is also something which is going to be debated upon. It's going to be contended. It's going to be argued upon. Do you think this is the right opportune time for something like this to happen?
There is never a good time and there is never a good muhurta, and at least the concept of muhurta is only in Hinduism, not in other panths. The challenge is very simple, Vineet. Look, कहते दो हाथ से ताली बजती है. Muslim side wants to go to the court because this is my law. अब 1955 का act है, 1991 का act है that the honorable courts will look into it and they will legally look into it. There will be competent lawyers like Mr. Naveen Chomal and others who will go and argue in front of the justices. They will take the decision. It will not be done on a TV panel. But when we talk of national unity, integrity, employment, youth, सब कुछ अच्छा है. And with greatest of respect for all the saints and all the Sufis, tell me something, why Siddhi Vinayak today is a property of the Waqf Board? भाई सिद्धि विनायक कहते हैं वक्फ बोर्ड की प्रॉपर्टी टुडे, आज की बात कर रहा हूं. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग 500 years back. मैं 50 साल की, मैं 5 साल की बात भी नहीं है, मैं आज टुडे Siddhi Vinayak is claimed to be the property of Waqf Board. Is anybody blind to claim that property, or are you trying to be? Do you think Hindus are fools? They don't understand what is happening. 1500-year-old Shiv temple in Karnataka with the entire village. Well, Islam is 1400 years, is a Waqf property. Mukesh Ambani ji ka ghar is a Waqf property. Parliament House of, the Assembly of Calcutta is a Waqf property. The High Court of, is a Waqf property. And what do you want? You want to go to a Waqf tribunal to appeal. If that is happening, now tell me, for the sake of God, when you say Siddhi Vinayak is a Waqf property, what do you expect Hindus to do in the name of national unity? Go back to home and sit and lie in slumber. This is what is happening in this country. I'm not even blaming Muhammad, Babar and, all these invaders now. Who is running the Waqf Board today? What is the claim on the Siddhi Vinayak temple? Tell me, sir. Because you're saying there's a Waqf Act that gives me proper Siddhi Vinayak temple is mine. Now, these are the things we need which are happening in broad daylight. Now, how do you expect the Hindu community to behave? What do you want the Hindu community to do? Just sit and say national unity hai. And if people, what Navinji rightly said, if people threaten with violence, then there are forces and there are police who will handle violence. The violence will be handled, that is not a problem. But in the name of violence, in the name of having ruckus or the street power, you cannot deny Hindus what is there rightfully there. And what you are denying us what is rightfully there, you are telling us do not even appeal to what should are rightfully there within the purview of law. I will do stone pelting, I will fire on the police, and then I will go and say Siddhi Vinayak temple is epitome of Ganpati worship is yours tomorrow. I won't be surprised If one day somebody will say Sri Mata Vaishno Devi is a work property, one day you and me will be debating on this channel Sri Tirupati Balaji is a work property. Vineet ji, मैं कह रहा हूँ वो दिन ज़्यादा दूर नहीं. The way it is going, one day Vaishno Devi and Sri Tirupati Balaji, the most visited and the most richest shrines in the world, will be work property. And you have to go to Waqf tribunal to appeal against that. That is happening in this country. There is no Babar here. There is no Chishti here. I'm not talking 100, 400. मैं आज 2024 की बात कर रहा हूँ. 2024 November I'm talking about. Now, how do you answer this?
Okay.
Now, what do you want the Hindus to do to this?
Let's get a response from Muhammad Ali Shah on what you have said. Ali, how would you like to respond to Sumit P? Do you think there is validity in what he has said about the Waqf board also erroneously perhaps, staking claim to land which perhaps idealistically should not be theirs?
Vineet, I have a very, very different opinion on that. And I go with what the RSS chief, Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, has said. What do we want to do? Do we want to look for a shivling beneath every mosque? कोई झगड़ा करवाना है क्या? He mentioned that. कोई झगड़ा नहीं करवाना हमको. So the very fact is, obviously, it's but obvious because since Ajmer Sharif Dargah it has its own sanctity from across the world internationally. People from all religion, communities, a very, very secular place. They come there, chadar chadane ke liye. So it is not. So it appears to be that the intention is to flare up passions and communal tensions. It appears to be that. But okay, fine. If they want to go to the court, and they are most welcome. Secondly,
we have a paucity of time. Let me quickly take concluding thoughts from Tahiraji and Advocate Chomal as well, and then we wrap up. Tahiraji, how do you respond to what Sumit has said?
I want to say these work boards. I am not in favor of work boards, but these work boards are under the work board. They are running in state. They are under the state government. The survey commissioner is appointed by the government. He is a government official. So you go and find out, put the accountability on them, drag them in the court, fix the CBI inquiry. I am saying on this national channel, why you people are not taking strict action against them? And second thing I am saying, nobody is justifying violence. And the second thing is this, that we have full trust. I always say in our courts, that they can go to the High Court after that, if not satisfied. After that, they can go to the highest court of the land also. So naturally, the Honorable Court will deliver the justice. And that should be acceptable to each and everyone.
All right. Advocate Chomal, quickly please, 20 seconds.
So, see, I like to conclude. Kindly see how Major Mohammad Ali Shah very cleverly ducked the question about the Waqf board's claim on Siddhi Vinayak Mandir. So that exposes their frauds. Means on Hindu temple they are till today, as Sumit ji very rightly said, they are trying to make that claim, which is totally unjustifiable. And where there are total remains of our Hindu mandir, the ancient archaeological sites are there, and they are trying to deprive us from the right to approach the court. So this won't do. We Hindu community have faith in the court.
Quickly, Ali. Muhammad Ali Shah, quickly. Muhammad Ali Shah, okay, Advocate Chomal. I think that was a personal attack. Okay, I think that was a personal attack. Advocate Chomal, that was a personal attack. That is not something we do here. All right, Ali, go ahead.
I take very strong objection to what the lawyer said, because what the lawyer said, he said it was very, very offensive. He said we Hindus are law-abiding citizens. We are not like Muslim community who not. Advocate
Chomal, that's unwarranted. Advocate Chomal, no, sir, I can't allow you to speak like this. We are not in this business. Tahiraji, quickly.
Stated very clearly that each and every citizen
Advocate Chomal, I think you are unnecessarily instigating an avenue which doesn't need to be. However, we are not going to get personal with any of our guests. Unfortunately, we've run out of time as well. Muhammad Ali Shah, thank you for being here and thank you for showing so much patience. We take a short break now. Be right back.
एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स हाईली प्रोफैशनल बंदे हायर कीते ने, चाहे वो लॉ अफसर होण, चाहे वो फोरेंसिक दे होण, ਚਾਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ।
भगवंत सिंह मान जी की जो एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स है, इसमें कन्विक्शन रेट इज़ एज हाई एज 81%। व्हाट्सएप चैट बोर्ड एंटी ड्रग हेल्पलाइन जिसका नाम है सेफ पंजाब, भगवंत सिंह मान जी ने इसीलिए लॉन्च करी थी कि लोगों को हमसे भी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है कि कौन नशा बेच रहा है, कहाँ बेच रहा है। 457 पे एक्शन भी लिया जा चुका है, जैसे कि रेड करना उनके घर पे या फिर FIR करना।
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਨਤ ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੀਰੋ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
ਲਾਅ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। 3.5 ਕਰੋੜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ, ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ।
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann, the Punjab government has a zero tolerance policy against drugs. Another strict step by the Punjab government, Safe Punjab, anti-drug helpline and WhatsApp chatbot. For complaints, message us at 97791 00200. Join us in the fight against drugs.
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
ਇਸ ਵਾਰ SSF ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की। पर अब एक कॉल करो, बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है 1 सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है SSF is just a call away।
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
Always prepared for their duty, with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था।
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
NPS वात्सल्य, ये किसने दिया?
ये हमने दिया है। सभी चाहते हैं अपने बच्चों की आज की नहीं कल की जरूरतों को भी पूरा करें, इसीलिए हमने चुना है NPS वात्सल्य, जो सालाना 1000 रुपए के निवेश से भी शुरू हो जाता है।
NPS वात्सल्य आप 18 वर्ष तक के बच्चों के लिए ले सकते हैं, जो 18 वर्ष बाद खुद ही NPS अकाउंट में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा।
इसीलिए कहता हूँ हर उम्र के लिए NPS जरूरी है।
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
ਇਸ ਵਾਰ SSF ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की। पर अब एक कॉल करो, बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है एक सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है एसएसएफ इज जस्ट अ कॉल अवे।
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
Always prepared for their duty, with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था।
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. Gautam Adani, the founder of Adani Group of Companies, along with his nephew Sagar Adani and others, have been indicted by Breon Peace, who's the United States attorney from the Eastern District of New York, for allegedly conspiring to bribe the government officials in India to get solar energy contracts in India. The US Department of Justice alleges that the Adani Green, including people in America, to subscribe to the bonds without informing the company, was indulging in bribes to get contracts in India. Now, this is a 54-page document that goes into minute details of what allegedly happened, which government officials from which Indian states were being targeted to provide bribes, where were the meetings being held, so on and so forth. And this indictment, the document does not once provide any evidence, concrete proof that the act of bribery actually took place. The case at best accuses, and without concrete proof, that there was conspiracy that was hatched by the Adanis to bribe the Indian officials. There is no violation of Foreign Corruption Act. Today, India's most prestigious and learned advocates, Mahesh Jethmalani and Mukul Rohatgi, who also has in the past held the position of the Attorney General of India, have spoken out against the US Department of Justice's indictment, calling it a hatchet job and sketchy at best. There is a growing concern over the scorched earth policy of the incumbent Democratic US President Joe Biden, who has ratcheted the Ukraine-Russia war, escalating it to the possible point of no return. It makes the job of the US President-elect Donald Trump all the more difficult to negotiate peace. There's something similar that is taking place against Adani Group of Companies and India. The US Democratic deep state has time and again in the past 2 years tried every trick in the book to subvert the India growth story, and the latest act certainly looks like a hit job on India. From raising doubts on the fairness and credibility of the Indian judiciary to cornering India on Hardeep Nijjar case, the US State Department has fallen short of accusing the Indian government of conspiring the assassination of the Khalistani terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu as well, who is allowed to roam freely in America despite several extradition requests by India which have gone unnoticed. It's the same story with the 26/11 terror attacks conspirators David Headley and Tahawur Rana, who are also residing in America. There are no two doubts that America is playing the super cop. It somehow gives itself unilateral jurisdiction over everything that's happening across the globe. What credibility does the American judiciary have to act as the super cop? Let's start this conversation. Joining me on the telecast is Advocate Atmaram Nandkarni. He's the former ASG. Thank you very much for joining me. And the question that I want to ask from you, sir, is about what our learned senior advocates Mukul Rohatgi and Mahesh Jethmalani said today. What are the actual charges that are being made by the New York prosecutor?
Yeah, that's the question?
Yes.
Now, basically, I've gone through this 54 pages document which I've got, which is actually the indictment by the US court. Frankly, it's like a charge sheet which is filed, akin to a charge sheet or a complaint charge which is filed in our courts in India. The irony is, I've been reading in the newspapers and public domain about Adani being indicted and all that. Curiously enough, neither Mr. Adani nor his nephew nor that other fellow, Mr. Jain, has been indicted in count number 1 and count number 5. Count number 1 relates to, the bribing of officials, etc., conspiracy of bribing and all. And 5 relates to obstructing justice. If they are not there on 1 and 5, where is the question of, charging them for 2, 3 and 4? This is a mute legal question.
Right.
I mean, number 2, as you know very well, the document itself says that this is only an indictment, this is not a conviction, etc. So this is only a prima facie.
Right.
Probably the US Department of Justice has filed something before the court, and this is like a summons or a warrant which the Indian court also issues. So this is not something indictment in the sense that any court has indicted them or anybody.
Okay.
So this is only a prima facie view.
Do you think, in your opinion, has the New York City prosecutor managed to establish a locus standi, or is it just a fishing expedition, as you mentioned, whether there is actually a locus standi in the matter?
No, see, insofar as this locus standi is concerned, that's a very relative question. He may have the locus standi to file such kind of things. But the first thing is, Mr. Adani has not been charged under count number 1 and 5. How could he be charged under 2, 3, 4? The second question is, what is the evidence and what is the, substratum pleaded? What is the overt court act attributed to the accused? When you say a bribe is given, you must say that Mr. X has bribed Mr. Y on such a date at such a place, and this is the amount. You can't just say X has bribed Y or somebody has bribed someone. Neither the officials are mentioned nor the departments are mentioned.
Okay. All right. So when the indictment says that Sagar Adani made notes and held meetings, how is that not a bribery charge? Is it just a technicality that we are discussing right now?
Why is he not charged? Why is he not charged for count number 5 or count number 1?
Right. Absolutely.
Without charging him for 1 and 5, you could not charge him for this.
Okay, then
it's very easy to say, that so and so persons are bribed and all this, etc. But very difficult to prove such a case.
Okay, all right. So again, in your opinion, there are legal precedents that already exist for charges being made in New York City, or do you think this smacks of a hit job?
No, charges being made in New York City is for, that's a matter to be established at the trial, whether the court had jurisdiction, whether these charges could have been made, etc., or whether this whole thing has been maneuvered and, planned for a particular thing. Those are matters which will be established at the trial. But the basic thing is that if 1 and 5 is not there, then how do you go ahead with the trial on this count?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a very a question that I don't know what is going to be your response, because it's also very conflicting kind of opinion that the world at this point of time has. Do you think is United States of America under the current Democratic administration playing a super cop, being the unilateral judicial authority over all that is happening across the globe, whether it is the truth that they are following or some false implications?
See, if it's a legal question, my answer would be that government is a continuous process. Whether A comes or B comes, whether it is democratic or republic, government is a continuous process. So the process of the government can follow. But this is basically, you will need a political opinion, which I am not very qualified to give.
Okay. Should an Indian prosecutor find any company and then end up linking Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, who is now accused of corruption and has colluded with the Chinese, and that has been proven, and then prosecute him in India and send summons from here?
Yeah, see, that's probably provided something, has happened in India. If something has happened in India, you can't do it across.
Yeah.
Now, probably the US court is doing it, or the US system of justice is doing it. They feel that there are investors in US in the Adani company. And therefore, based on that, it's a far-fetched, stretching of jurisdiction, which is something unknown to law. And your question is absolutely right. Can the Indian courts and Indian police department do it? against Biden's son.
Yeah.
So that will have no end. The serious trials in a court of law are not to be done on such kind of gimmicks.
So do you think this comes across as something farcical? What has happened with the indictment that has happened against Adani Group of companies?
See, if you ask me, this is something which is bit out of the ordinary. It's not in the normal course. So this is not experienced herein before also. Just because we have investors in one company, that state itself goes and files a complaint about some bribery taking place in some other state. That too in a different this one only.
Yeah, and the fact that they were not even alluded that the bribery has taken place. There has been a conspiracy.
No. It's just
been a conspiracy to allegedly bribe.
54-page
Yeah.
54-page document does not mention anybody who was bribed, when he was bribed, why he was bribed, how he was bribed, what is the bribe amount. Nothing is mentioned.
Now, regardless of the obvious hit job that is taking place, many will reasonably say that the charges like these are serious. But what would be the pro forma for any Indian investigation which would have to order it to be?
No, Indian investigation is provided there are complaints filed across here. Just because US Department of Justice starts something, their proceedings based on their own understanding, that doesn't mean that the Indian authorities have to be proactive and follow them in their own thing. Somebody can, today we have courts of law here, we have a strong regulatory mechanism here, we have high courts and supreme courts and so many other courts which are taking cognizance day in and day out. We have a much better system than the US system. So anybody can go here and indict whoever you want to. But based on the US thing, which is such a hollow thing, I mean, it's not possible to prosecute people here in this country based on that.
Advocate Nankarni, also, a few months ago, there was a very strong statement that had caused concern within the Indian administration and the Indian judiciary, talking about the US government, the US State Department hoped that the Indian judiciary was free and unbiased and fair in hearing and passing judgment on the trial of Arvind Kejriwal. This was right at the time of the Lok Sabha elections were taking place. Do you think if the US government, the State Department has any locus standi in making such commentary?
It doesn't have any, this one, the Indian judiciary, has such a great history. Our country, our system, and especially the judiciary in India is such a robust system. And we have such a strong regulatory mechanism. We have a written constitution. We follow in accordance with the constitution. We have our checks and balances. We don't require the certificate from the US Department or US administration for this.
Right. Absolutely.
And for that matter, Indus Valley civilization is the oldest in the world. Next to that is the Greek civilization. We are more than 5,000 years old. America was not there that time at all.
Okay, talking about the US judiciary acting like a super cop and going about unilaterally passing judgments and indicting Indian companies and bringing about a bad name to the India growth story, let's also take a look at the number of charges that have been raised by the US President-elect Donald Trump, and he's spoken about a number of these district attorneys and public prosecutors, and they've primarily been from Georgia and New York, and he's spoken about how there has been a hit job against him and how there has been collusion, there have been conflict of interest, there have been there was this Fannie Willis, he's spoken about Letitia James, he's spoken about Breon Peace, and these have these individuals, these district attorneys and public prosecutors have been in some way in the past linked to George Soros. So what do you make of these charges that have been raised, not just by anybody, but the President of America, who is going to take oath in January?
This is something which will require a very detailed investigation. As you mentioned, it is possible that the allegations made against George Soros and the deep state, etc. It is all possible that there is a deep conspiracy somewhere. And today people have a tendency to embarrass people holding high positions in life. So my Mr. Adani's targeted probably is that he is perceived to be close to the administration, the government of India, especially the Prime Minister and all. So this is only because of that these kind of things are being done.
Okay, all right. Advocate Nankarni, stay on with me. Let me get in my other panelists into the discussion. I have with me Dr. Sharad Kohli. Dr. Sharad Kohli, you know, it's unfortunate. There was a $10 billion investment that was going to be announced by Gautam Adani right ahead of the indictment that came forth from the public prosecutor from the New York Department of Justice. How do you make of these developments, particularly with regards to the fine print in the 54-page document, which has no locus standi in accusing the Adani group of companies or Gautam Adani or Sagar Adani of actually bribing Indian government officials?
Good evening, Megha. Good evening to my fellow panelists and NewsX viewers. You know, what you say as locus standi, in the legal language, we call it as the jurisdiction. If a crime is committed in Bengal, it cannot be tried out here in Delhi. You know, there are jurisdictional issues within the country. And when it comes to cross-border, obviously there is no locus standi. And let me just give you a little background of how it comes. There is a Hague Convention signed in 1965. There is a mutual legal assistance treaty signed between the India and United States. As for both, you know, if you have to accuse somebody in another country, you have to write to the US has to write to its foreign secretary. Foreign secretary will send it to the Indian embassy. The Indian embassy will then communicate it to the foreign Ministry of External Affairs in India. Ministry of External Affairs will then pass it on to Home Ministry or the relevant department. Now, this is the protocol to be followed. If a US court directly sends a summon or a notice or an indictment to an Indian citizen who's staying in India, it has got absolutely no locus standi. I'm surprised and shocked as to how that US court did not bother to look into the Hague Convention 1965 and the Mutual Legal Assistance called MLA, the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, which is signed between India and US. That is the protocol which they have breached actually. So it has got absolute, can be thrown in the
but then,
bin
you know,
straight
again, as per this document and the indictment that has been put up against the Adanis, you know, the substratum of the case is that you have induced the people of America to subscribe to your bonds without informing them that you are indulging in bribes to get contracts in India. Does this when you talk about, does this evidence, does this substratum actually hold water?
Well, in legal terminology, Megha, we use a term, this is based on conjectures and surmises. That's the term we use when you file a case, that this is simply based on a concocted story. Where is the proof? As Mr. Nadkarni said as well, and I'm so glad, you know, when this vindication came from the Department of Justice in US today morning, I did a brief interaction with your channel, that NewsX was amongst the first channels, even just after reading the 54-page indictment. You know, we were amongst the first people to say that this is a cock and bull story. I'm so glad that Department of Justice, United States, has vindicated that stand, that on account number 1 and 5, it does not hold true. And I agree with Mr. Nadkarni that if 1 and 2 is not applicable, 2, 3, 4 become redundant. So basically, the whole case has been ruled out. It's been thrown out of the bin. There were people talking about mega investigation being done in India. So many noises coming from the opposition, from the Congress, and so many other fronts as well. You know, there is no need for that. Within the US, Department of Justice has refuted all these charges. So I think the case it's an open and shut case. There is no substantiated evidence to prove, as he rightly said, who gave the bribe, who was the person giving the bribe, on the basis of encrypted messages. The other day I was saying, I think Mr. Adani must be carrying a camera on his ear, and a hearing device. Somebody was listening out there in America. What is he chatting with people out here? What kind of technology is this? I don't think Mr. Adani will ever like to carry something like. So this is completely based on conjectures and surmises, Megha. It has got no substance in it whatsoever.
Gautam Mukherjee, let's also try to understand the kind of losses that the Adani group of companies has had to bear. We talk about Fitch, we talk about S&P rating companies who have downgraded Gautam Adani. There have been billions of dollars that have been removed from the stocks of all the listed companies of the Adani group of companies. Not to mention, there have been a number of contracts that had been signed between Adani and other companies in Bangladesh, in Kenya, and now we're getting to know that something of this sort has also happened with Sri Lanka, and questions are being raised. They've decided to step back. Who is going to be held accountable for this?
Well, this is hit job number 3, as I've said before. The 2 Hindenburg and now this. And it's amazing how quickly it is unraveling. First of all, it's unsubstantiated. It is just a rant of unproven and allegations without any detail. Who was bribed, when he was bribed, as a number of the other panelists have pointed out, that the principal people who are being affected in the stock market and in raising money and so on, Adani and his son and his family and others close to him, all of these people are not at all responsible for this hit job. And it is very clear that it will be a matter of days before they bounce back stronger than ever. And it is very, astounding as to what they expected to achieve.
But also, let's not downplay this, because it has taken more than a year for Gautam Adani and his group of companies to actually go back and bounce back from the kind of losses that it faced after the Hindenburg hit job. So it's going to take, if not more, about a year for the company to bounce back from the downgrading, from the attacks that have been levied against them, and again, besides that, the contracts that have been lost and are not going to be recovered.
एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स हाईली प्रोफेशनल ਬੰਦੇ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਅ ਅਫਸਰ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਫੋਰੈਂਸਿਕ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ, ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ।
भगवंत सिंह मान जी की जो एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स है, इसमें कन्विक्शन रेट इज़ एज हाई एज 81%। व्हाट्सएप चैटबोट एंटी ड्रग हेल्पलाइन जिसका नाम है सेफ पंजाब, भगवंत सिंह मान जी ने इसीलिए लॉन्च करी थी कि लोगों को हमसे भी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है कि कौन नशा बेच रहा है, कहाँ बेच रहा है। 457 पे एक्शन भी लिया जा चुका है, जैसे कि रेड करना उनके घर पे या फिर FIR करना।
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਨਤ ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੀਰੋ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
ਲਾਅ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। 3.5 ਕਰੋੜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ, ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ।
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann, the Punjab government has a zero tolerance policy against drugs. Another strict step by the Punjab government, Safe Punjab, anti-drug helpline and WhatsApp chatbot. For complaints, message us at 97791 00200. Join us in the fight against drugs.
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
ਇਸ ਵਾਰ SSF ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की। पर अब एक कॉल करो, बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है एक सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है SSF is just a call away।
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
Always prepared for their duty, with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था।
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
All right, so breaking news coming in. Sheikh Hasina has slammed Muhammad Yunus-led government in Bangladesh for the rising atrocities against Hindus, minorities and over the arrest of Hindu priest Chinmoy Krishna Das. Hasina said if the unconstitutionally usurped Yunus government fails to punish these terrorists, it will also face punishment for human rights violations. In a detailed statement, Hasina said, and I quote, "A top leader of Sanatan religious community has been unjustly arrested. He must be released immediately." She also added that a temple has been burnt in Chittagong, and previously mosques, shrines, churches, monasteries and homes of the Ahmadiyya community were attacked as well, vandalized and looted and set on fire. Religious freedom and security of life and property of people of all communities should be ensured. Rainik Datta, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Rainik, शेख हसीना ने भी एक तरह से अब बयान दिया है और कहा है कि जिस तरीके से बांग्लादेश में हिंदुओं को टारगेट बनाया जा रहा है वो गलत है और मोहम्मद यूनुस खुद एक तरह से ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशंस के मामले में फेल हो सकते हैं या फिर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कम्युनिटी का शिकार हो सकते हैं।
हाँ, एकदम देखिए, इंटरिम गवर्नमेंट जब से चालू हुआ है टाइम पीरियड से अगर देखा जाए तो जिस तरीके से लगातार बांग्लादेश में माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी के ऊपर हमले का घटना घट रहा है, हिंदुओं का घर मंदिर को किया जा रहा है, लूटपाट मचाया जा रहा है, और इस स्टेशन में जब आस्था हिंदू जो लीडर थे उनके एजेंट से सेडिशन का मामला दायर किया गया और उसके बाद जब चिन्मय कृष्ण दास जी गए थे जो इस्कॉन का उनको को जब गिरफ्तार किया गया, इसी के बाद ही अभी फॉर्मर प्राइम मिनिस्टर शेख हसीना की तरफ से वादा दिया गया है। उनके तरफ से जो एक्शन किया गया है उससे 2-3 चीज का जिक्र शेख हसीना की तरफ से किया गया है। पहला तो ये पूरा घटना के बाद ही कीमत का तरह के बाद ही चिटागोंग में जब कोर्ट के सामने वो पक्ष के बीच में जो मिलफेयर हुआ होगा, उस मिलफेयर में एक लॉयर को मौत हुआ था, जो पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर है चिटागोंग कोर्ट का, उसका मौत हुआ था। उस घटना को लेकर शेख हसीना की तरफ से कहा गया है कि ये पूरा घटना के बाद जो इस घटना में गुनहगार है, जो लोग इसमें शामिल थे, उनके खिलाफ में ये सरकार की तरफ से कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया गया है। सरकार विफल रहे हैं ये पूरा घटना का जांच करने में। दूसरी तरफ अगर देखा जाए, दूसरी तरफ ये पूरा घटना के बाद जिस तरीके से लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन मुश्किल में पड़ चुके हैं बांग्लादेश में, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन टूट पड़े हैं बोल सकते हैं, और इसके साथ साथ ही जो आम लोगों का जो ह्यूमन राइट, इसके ऊपर सवाल आ रहा है, उसको लेकर भी शेख हसीना की तरफ से ये स्टेटमेंट में बताया गया है। साथ ही शेख हसीना की तरफ से ये भी कहा गया है कि जिस तरीके से चिन्मय दास को गिरफ्तार किया गया था, तो चिन्मय दास को अनजस्टली अरेस्ट किया गया है और उनको इमीडिएटली रिलीज करना चाहिए, ऐसा भी शेख हसीना की तरफ से कहा गया है। और इसके साथ साथ ही शेख हसीना ने मेंशन किया है कि इसके पहले भी देखा गया था कि जो माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटीज है उनके ऊपर किस तरीके से हमले का घटना घटा था, उसका जिक्र भी ये स्टेटमेंट में शेख हसीना की तरफ से किया गया है। और शेख हसीना की तरफ से साथ साथ ही आवामी लीग का जो लीडर्स है, वर्कर्स थे, उनके ऊपर जो हमले का घटना, उसका जिक्र भी किया गया है।
चलिए, रहने की जानकारी के लिए आपका शुक्रिया। Well, YSRCP President Jagan Mohan Reddy has responded to Adani indictment charges against him. He has responded to it saying that these are false charges and he will file a defamation case against the authorities. Listen into what he said.
It's a huge waiver. It's a huge incentive offered as a special incentive to the state. And one should appreciate that for having concluded such a historic PPA, such a historic power sale agreement.
So, but your name has been dragged in the indictment document, which in purpose maligns your reputation, your name as well. Will you be taking any action against that?
See, this is all hearsay, man. Nobody said that that I have taken or somebody has taken or somebody is given. There is nothing there. See, it's out of the blue. Somebody here is speaking all these things. See, first of all, somebody with proper understanding of the facts. Where did this originate from? It originated from SECI, which is central government, writing a letter to the state government.
Belly, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast. In fact, Belly, Mr. Reddy, of course, very upset that he's being dragged into this matter.
Absolutely, we need this. This is in the backdrop of the Telugu Desam party spokesperson, Anam Venkata Ramana Reddy, had said that the previous YSR Congress Party government led by Jagannath Reddy had signed power purchase agreements for renewable energy with the Adani Group at exorbitant prices. And while other states had backed off by saying that they could not afford to buy the renewable energy at the prices fixed by the Solar Energy Corporation of India, as the cost of renewable power generation was coming down at that time, he pointed out that the YSRCP government had gone ahead with buying those PPAs at exorbitant prices. The Telugu Desam Party spokesperson also said that, asked that what was the reason for signing those PPAs at the higher prices, if not for bribes. And he referred that the bribes paid to Jagan Mohan Reddy and his cronies amounted to roughly 1,675 crores, as alleged by the US Federal Bureau of Investigation from the internal records of Adani Group. He has said that the USSCC of the USA demanded a trial by jury and the judgment would be pronounced in less than a year. And quoting from a draft copy of the case filed by the US Securities and Exchange Commission in the Eastern District Court of New York, the TDP spokesperson said that the SECI expected to sign the PPAs with winning bidders that is Adani Green and Azure Power, within 90 days of issuing the letters of award. Instead, the PPAs took more than 18 months, and their execution of SCCI happened only after Gautam Adani and Sagar Adani undertook a massive bribery scheme to incentivize Andhra Pradesh government officials to enter into contracts with SCCI to buy energy at the given market rate. And TDP leader also said that relevant files had since been processed overnight, and then the Energy Minister Balineni Srinivasa Reddy was fortunate not to have appended his signature there. So Jagan Mohan Reddy, in reaction to that, has said that there was no evidence or in the USSEC's report his name never featured, and how can somebody allege that he is involved in such a big crime, and he is going ahead with this defamation suit beneath.
Belly, appreciate you joining us. Thank you for that. All right, moving on. India has successfully test-fired the K-4 ballistic missile with a range of 3,500 kilometers from the nuclear-powered submarine INS Arighat. The trial conducted in the Bay of Bengal marks a milestone in the nation's defense capabilities, solidifying its second strike capability. The test is part of India's efforts to strengthen its nuclear triad, enhancing its ability to retaliate in the event of a nuclear attack. Defense sources confirmed the missile performed well, with results now under analysis. The indigenously built INS Arighat, commissioned in August, is fitted with advanced K-4 missiles, making it a formidable asset in India's submarine fleet and capabilities. We'll talk about this, and we'll also talk about the welcome addition to India's deterrence with our guests. Joining us on the show is Group Captain Dr. M.J. Augustine Vinod, former fighter pilot, MiG-21. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, former spokesperson, Ministry of Defence, also joins us on the show. Captain Sanjay Karve, former naval officer, with us on the program as well. And last but by no means the least, Major General Shashi Asthana, defence expert, with us on the program as well. General Asthana, I'll begin with you, sir. Sir, this is obviously a welcome addition, and this is also relevant in terms of the fact that there are two ongoing wars across the world, and for India to display and show its autonomous nature when it comes to its defense capabilities is an important message.
In fact, when we say that India is adopting a strategic autonomy, what goes along with it is that in case of a war, in case of a hot war or a major war, nobody is fighting with us. We have to defend ourselves, and we have to be self-reliant. Now, to be self-reliant, obviously, we have to have all elements of power, all elements of combat power. And when we talk of naval power, the submarines are becoming important because of the fact that China has got the largest navy and more than 79 submarines. So therefore, comparing the numbers, only by numbers also there is a substantial threat. And the fact that although Chinese submarines are going to be deployed in South China Sea and these areas, but then the fact is that they are eyeing for Indian Ocean region and dominance of Indian Ocean region to ward off their vulnerability of the sea lines of communication. So this is the scenario in which we are working, and therefore we will have to contest the Indian Ocean as well from Chinese. And to contest that, obviously, maritime power is important. And as you rightly mentioned in the commentary, the second strike capability is also important. And I must explain to the viewers here as to why it is important. India is following no first use policy. No first use means that we are not going to fire on any other country unless they fire at us, number one, or not only us in Indian territory, but Indian air forces anywhere in the world. Now, if that be so, then we must be able to sustain the first strike, and we must have nuclear assets which are so disposed that they are not destroyed in first strike. And SLBM, that is the submarine launched ballistic missiles, they give such kind of option. And that is why the importance of the Arighat, and the earlier we had Arihant, and now we are also looking at subsequently to get to develop Andaman in next year. That is another nuclear submarine, and we are also looking at getting another submarine on lease, which should have happened, but it's going to take time from Russia. So this is the way we are going to look at it. And also the nuclear powered submarines have an advantage that they can be underwater for a very long time as compared to all other submarines. So we have 17 submarines, but we have only 2 nuclear powered submarines. So that's why I think it is important that we have more, and it's also important that we have more indigenous component. So Arighat submarine is actually giving us more indigenous components, and it has also the flexibility of the armament in a manner that it can carry 750 kilometers range, at least 12 of them, and 4 of them of 3,500 kilometer range. So this is the kind of flexibility we have. So this is where the overall, shall I say, threat scenario, the INS Arighat fits in, and the current test is important as to how much we have achieved. I think we have fired at the highest range to get as to where we are as far as the specified parameters are concerned. Vineet.
Commander Bakshi, India's growing prowess in India's autonomy in defending itself. What kind of an aura is India beginning to in fact attract, especially when it comes to our defense production, our defense export, as well as a message to all those who perhaps want to trifle with India?
Thanks, Vineet. It's indeed a very, very happy news regarding Arighat launching this missile. But what I'd like to tell you is that India is now changing its face. India is no more India of 15 or 20 years back. The policies have changed. The doctrinal approach has changed, and we are going full steam ahead towards self-sufficiency, indigenization program, Atmanirbhar Bharat is a key word, and that is where these 2 submarines come into news. Yes, we have been getting submarines on lease earlier, and we'll get more. But question out here is that when we are getting a nuclear submarine, a powered submarine, launching a nuclear missile as a deterrence, now that means a lot. The Strategic Forces Command has taped up its complete work, and this is going to prove itself as the development in South China Sea comes forward. China is increasing its submarine workout in the South China Sea, and there are serious move in increasing naval strength of various countries, especially Quad, where India has been invited, and probably militarization of Quad may take place. This is one other thing which is looming large in the decision making for India as to what to do. But we are ready for that, whereas as our Navy is progressing at a very high rate, DRDO is working overtime, all the shipyards are working overtime in Vizag, etc. And with these submarines and our other ships developing, I know that China has a very large Navy, probably larger than America. But the question here is that our capability, when it is increasing at such a high rate, and our policy is changing, and with the man behind the machine, philosophy which we have, I personally feel we are on a very strong wicket. Yes, but we should not let complacency set in and think that we have achieved a lot. We have started the race. For all these last 70 years, I think we had lost a lot of time. But now that we are overcoming all that and inertia, and now we are coming well ahead, Chinese are worried because Chinese have a problem with us on the land, and their Chinese have tasted their own medicine. They have a taste of their own medicine in the last 2 or 3 years, I must say. And this aspect China knows very well. So China will be worried because China is increasing its area of operations right up to Bay of Bengal. It is, showing interest in the Solomon Island. It is showing interest in the island which America wanted, St. Martin's. It is already in in Sri Lanka. It has got 2 ports already there, including Hambantota. All the islands in Maldives, They have created their presence. Gwadar port in Arabian Sea, they have got. So Chinese naval presence is coming up very much, and this progress is unnerving China, because China knows, having decided to make a progress, India is not going to now pull its throttles back. It is going to go full steam ahead, and now China is already thinking, and as you know, Vineet, China has of late started changing its stand vis-a-vis India because of the BRICS requirement which Russia has imposed on him. So China knows very well that it has to play its game. The game is becoming limited for him, and that is giving us time to progress more. This, we should not waste our time, we should not lose our time, and we should now increase our capabilities. Submarine aircraft carrier is coming up. We have to now, make more advanced aircraft carrier. We have a plan already for that. We have plans for advanced submarine. Perhaps we may be now getting more better missiles, and I don't want to talk of hypersonic or etc. But question is, the day is not far where we will be looking at much more things. Probably a nuclear aircraft carrier is going to come very soon. That also is going to be part of our inventory. So we are quite way ahead, and our economy is going to sustain. We are increasing in our economy. We don't have to worry about. Only thing is, our policies now must sustain, and we should walk the talk. We should not be, complacent and forget and change our priorities. If this remains the priority number one, we don't have to worry.
Okay, great points there, sir. Group Captain Augustine, this is heartening news, and this is obviously one that has come, like I already said, with a lot of indigenous effort by our local and current scientists. And the fact of the matter is that if you compare to what India did 20 years ago and what we are doing today, there is a sea difference in our defense capabilities as well as our defense prowess. We've spoken about China, we've spoken about Pakistan, but the fact of the matter is that there is a very, very important overlaid commercial structure to India's growing defense stature as well.
Absolutely, Vineet, you couldn't have said it better. I'll cover a few points which heretofore has not been covered. Couple of very important points is one which I've put behind me. If you look at this missile head, the missile head and the boost technology itself, in itself is a marvel. The head is the one which carries the missile from the subsurface to surface, and in the zero boost phase, the head separation and the boost rocket firing is a ballet dance, and that we've achieved so beautifully. If you see any other SLBM, it appears as if it comes out of the water and it is going to fall into the sea, and it is now waiting for the boost to fire. The boost fires and somehow it takes off. So this is one technology which we have been able to achieve. The high energy material research laboratory, which also made Agni, to make this marvel come true. Another important thing, Vineet, is General talked about the second strike capability. It was also my PhD subject, therefore I'm covering it here. See, for a country which has a declared no first use policy, has to have a very credible second strike capability. हम कहते हैं कि we will not fire the first time, but our second strike will be so solid, so strong that you will cease to exist as a country. ये message है, and that message comes loud and clear. And unless you have a submarine launched weapon system like this, that message is not loud and clear. There is also another aspect, Vineet, I want to tell viewers as well as you, is there's something called dead hand. It's a Russian word. It is called Sistema Perimeter, which means the dead hand. What happens is, say in the first strike, your entire polity is gone, your decision-making chain has been hit by the nuclear missile of the enemy, and there is nobody, the submarine commander, as a fallback to ask for whether or not I should fire this nuclear missile is when this dead hand policy comes into play. When it is certain that there is nobody behind me, the hand is dead, is the time the second strike commander, the nuclear missile commander or the submarine commander takes a call, finishes off the enemy. And we have to have not only the standard operating procedure for it, communication protocols for it, and a way to find out whether the polity and the decision-making loop has been hit and the country has been badly hit. You know who else has such capability? Only those countries which have the veto power. They have this capability and we have this capability now, which in itself, not only firing this K4 missile, which in itself is a very big thing. And a post K4, I want to tell the viewers, is K5, K6 are in the pipeline. K6 is going to touch 12,000 kilometers. Halfway, that is from equator to North Pole, is only an average distance of 10,000 kilometers. So with 12,000 kilometers range, we can hit anybody from any part of the earth. So that is another message which is going to go loud and clear. Aridaman is on the cards. Arihant is already sailing, and today we fired from the second submarine, which is Arigat. Aridaman is on the card, which is already doing sea trials, which is the good news. And the fourth one, whose name has not been christened as yet, is also on the card. So we will have 4 nuclear submarines. Now, coming beneath to nuclear submarine, why nuclear submarine is important than a conventional submarine? A nuclear submarine submerged does close to 23 knots continuous, which is as good as the speed any carrier battle group will have. That means a nuclear submarine can be part of the carrier battle group. The conventional submarine cannot be, because a submerged conventional submarine does not do this kind of speed, 23 knots. So a carrier battle group today has an underwater support that is either going ahead or behind or on the flanks. The carrier battle group now becomes invincible. You know who else has that capability? Only United States of America, not even China. So we are in a great position as far as dominating waters are concerned, and we as a country do not have any expeditional design, which means if we say we are going to rule the Indian Ocean region, we are going to rule the Indian Ocean region. Taking a leaf from what Bakshi sir talked about, China's prowess, it is great, but China cannot easily come into Indian Ocean region. Why? If you look at the map, there are only 3 straits, Sunda, Lombok and Malacca. Where you go well down south, there is a place called Ombai-Vatar, which is way down south. There are the 4 gateways to enter Indian Ocean region. We need to put 4 submarines who look out for any ship that is going to enter into Indian Ocean region. And if they enter and before the war and the war starts later, we have ways and means to take them out.
Okay.
Arihant, Arigat is one of them.
All right, we've run out of time. But let me quickly rope in Captain Sanjay Karve into this conversation as well. Captain Karve, your assessment of this good news. There is definitely going to tighten India's image as well as India's security.
This is in fact a very heartening news. If you look at the range of the K4 missile with max all-up weight can fly up to 3,500 kilometers. What in effect it means is the submarine can remain undetected and hit Pakistan from anywhere and hit Beijing or Shanghai, anywhere from Kolkata to Port Blair. You know, which itself is a big achievement for a country which just 10 years ago did not have a viable deterrent. Now today when we talk of a deterrent, like the general and the previous people mentioned, a submarine is a deterrent which cannot be easily detected, more so a nuclear submarine. Most of our Indian trade is through the ocean and through the sea. It is essential for us to ensure that the seas are safe and people who are transiting through these seas, maybe our own ships, maybe ships of our friendly nations which are carrying trade, they also need to feel secure. Having the Indian nuclear submarines patrolling the Indian Ocean, maybe the Bay of Bengal or the Arabian Sea, they are also well aware that there are submarines, the Indian submarines, which can look after them, which can pose a threat to the so-called adversaries and attack them from any place in and around Indian Ocean. Like it was mentioned that the 4 straits are there. You position one submarine in one of the straits, you have effectively blocked China from entering into the Indian Ocean. The K5 submarine, which is going to follow the K4, has a range of 6,000 kilometers. That means effectively the entire Chinese nation will be under the cover of the Indian submarines. One big advantage of this is that the government has already approved 2 more add-on submarines. This is in addition to the leased Chakra, which should be coming in another 3 to 4 years' time. This apparent delay is because of the Russian and the Ukrainian war. Otherwise, Chakra also would have been with the Indian Navy in another by this year end or next year end. So we will have a viable and a threatening deterrent of 4 to 6 nuclear submarines. Ideally speaking, we require another half a dozen nuclear submarines to ensure that the Indian shores, the Indian waters are kept well safe and secure, and people think twice before getting on to the first strike on any Indian unit, whether in India or outside India.
All right, sir. We've run out of time completely, but appreciate everyone who came aboard and spoke about this important development. We take a short break. Be right back.
ਐਂਟੀ ਨਾਰਕੋਟਿਕਸ ਟਾਸਕ ਫੋਰਸ ਹਾਈਲੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਬੰਦੇ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਅ ਅਫਸਰ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਫੋਰੈਂਸਿਕ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ, ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ।
भगवंत सिंह मान जी की जो एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स है, इसमें कन्विक्शन रेट इज़ एज हाई एज 81%। व्हाट्सएप चैटबोट एंटी ड्रग हेल्पलाइन जिसका नाम है सेफ पंजाब, भगवंत सिंह मान जी ने इसीलिए लॉन्च करी थी कि लोगों को हमसे भी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है कि कौन नशा बेच रहा है, कहाँ बेच रहा है। 457 पे एक्शन भी लिया जा चुका है, जैसे कि रेड करना उनके घर पे या फिर FIR करना।
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਨਤ ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੀਰੋ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
ਲਾਅ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। 3.5 ਕਰੋੜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ, ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ।
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Maan, the Punjab government has a zero tolerance policy against drugs. Another strict step by the Punjab government, Safe Punjab, anti-drug helpline and WhatsApp chatbot. For complaints, message us at 97791 00200. Join us in the fight against drugs.
NPS वात्सल्य, ये किसने दिया?
ये हमने दिया है। सभी चाहते हैं अपने बच्चों की आज की नहीं, कल की जरूरतों को भी पूरा करें। इसीलिए हमने चुना है NPS वात्सल्य, जो सालाना 1000 रुपए के निवेश से भी शुरू हो जाता है।
NPS वात्सल्य आप 18 वर्ष तक के बच्चों के लिए ले सकते हैं, जो 18 वर्ष बाद खुद ही NPS अकाउंट में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा।
इसीलिए कहता हूँ, हर उम्र के लिए NPS जरूरी है।
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
ਇਸ ਵਾਰ SSF ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Maan took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की। पर अब एक कॉल करो, बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है 1 सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है SSF is just a call away.
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
always prepared for their duty with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था.
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
Welcome back. A low-intensity blast was reported near a PVR outside a sweet shop in Delhi's Prashant Vihar on Thursday, which is today. The Delhi Fire Department received a call at 11:48 a.m. and fire tenders have reached the site. A driver of a three-wheeler, which was parked nearby, sustained minor injuries. The entire area has been cordoned off. In a statement, the police said that the PCR unit received a call informing about a bomb-like explosion in Prashant Vihar area. A bomb detection team, dog squad, local police force along with the Delhi fire services are present at the spot. The incident took place near the boundary wall of a park, adding that police were investigating a white powder that was found scattered in the area. And after the explosion, teams from the National Investigation Agency, National Security Guard and the Central Reserve Police Force and Delhi Police cordoned off the area, and forensic experts had collected samples from the site as well. Well, NewsX has accessed the exclusive CCTV footage of the Prashant Vihar blast where a loud explosion can be heard. Let's have a look at that. Javed, my colleague, joins us at this point in time. Javed, ये एक्सप्लोजन लगभग 12 बजे के आसपास हुआ था आज सुबह. 6-7 घंटे बीत चुके हैं इस वारदात को. अभी तक क्या जानकारी मिल चुकी है और जिस तरीके से एजेंसीज अभी भी मौके वारदात पर मौजूद हैं, क्या पता लगा सकी है वो इतने समय में?
देखिए, मेरे पीछे आप देख सकते हैं कि जो यहाँ पर जो तमाम जो गाड़ियां खड़ी हैं एनएसजी की और जो दूसरी एजेंसीज की जो सेंट्रल एजेंसीज हैं, दिल्ली पुलिस है, इसके अलावा दिल्ली पुलिस की जो स्पेशल यूनिट्स है, वो इस वक्त यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं. और जो पैटर्न है वो पिछले 1 महीने पहले जो 20 अक्टूबर को और दिल्ली के इसी प्रशांत विहार थाना इलाके के ही जिस सीआरपीएफ स्कूल के दीवार के पास जो ब्लास्ट हुआ था, यहाँ पर भी सेम पैटर्न है. क्योंकि मेरे पीछे जो आप देख रहे होंगे, जहाँ पे ये लाइट जो सेकंड जो लाइट का खंभा है, वहां पर एक स्वीट शॉप है जो आमतौर पर बहुत भीड़ होती है. लेकिन उसके ठीक सामने मेरे पीछे इस डायरेक्शन पे जहाँ पे आप देख रहे हैं, इस डायरेक्शन पर जहाँ पे गाड़ी है, इसके ठीक पीछे वो दीवार है पहाड़ की जहाँ पर ये ब्लास्ट हुआ है. जो पिछली बार यानी कि 1 महीने पहले जो ब्लास्ट हुआ था उसकी जो डेंसिटी थी, उसके मुकाबले इस ब्लास्ट की जो डेंसिटी है वो काफी कम है. यानी कि उसके कंपेयर की जो इसकी ग्रेविटी, जो इसकी डेंसिटी है इसके ब्लास्ट की, वो कम है. लेकिन जो आवाज हुआ है वो आवाज काफी दूर तक गया है. तकरीबन 500 मीटर तक जो पूरी जो रेंज है वहां तक ये आवाज पहुंची है. और धुआं पिछली बार जिस तरीके से ब्लास्ट हुआ था उसी तरह से इस बार भी जो धुआं है काफी दूर तक लोगों को दिखाई दिया. तकरीबन 5 से 6 मिनट तक ये जो धुआं है वो आसमान में लोगों को दिखाई दिया है. इसमें सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि देखिए, जो ब्लास्ट हुआ है उसके पीछे मकसद है कोई मैसेज देना या फिर इसके पीछे किसी की कोई बड़ी बताई जा रही है. क्योंकि देखिए, ये आमतौर पर बहुत भीड़ भाड़ वाला इलाका है, पब्लिक यहाँ पे रेसिडेंशियल है. मेरे ठीक पीछे ये आप मॉल देख रही है, मॉल के ये दीवार, ये मॉल है पूरा पीवीआर मॉल. यहाँ पर भी काफी भीड़ होती है और ये पूरा मार्केट एरिया यहाँ पर आमतौर पर पूरी तरीके से रेसिडेंशियल है. इसके अलावा कई शॉप्स बने हुए, इसके पीछे पार्क है. और जिस तरीके से सर्दी का वक्त है और पार्क में लोग यहाँ पे रेसिडेंशियल जो इलाके के लोग हैं, जो बच्चे हैं या बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं, वो यहाँ पर बैठते हैं. तो अगर किसी को किसी तरीके की कोई तकलीफ या कोई एक ऐसा टारगेट होता इसके पीछे तो इसको दूसरी तरफ शिफ्ट किया जा सकता था, लेकिन जो ब्लास्ट हुआ है वो इसी मेरे पीछे जो गाड़ियां देख रहे हैं, ये एनएसजी और एजेंसीज की गाड़ी, इसी के ठीक पीछे वो जगह है जहां से सैंपल को कलेक्ट किया गया है। और उसी पार्क के दीवार के बिल्कुल फुट के पार्क के पास ही ठीक इस तरीके का जो जगह है, जैसे ये देख रहे हैं आप, इस तरह के जगह पे, जैसे ये फुटपाथ बना हुआ, इसी तरह की जगह पे दीवार के पास वो ब्लास्ट हुआ है। तो अब इस पूरे मामले में जो सेंट्रल एजेंसीज जो एनआईए है, उनकी जो फॉरेंसिक टीम है, उन्होंने यहाँ से सैंपल को कलेक्ट किया है। इसके बाद दिल्ली पुलिस के स्पेशल सेल जो कि टेरर यूनिट पे काम करती है, वो यूनिट यहाँ पर मौजूद थी। इन्वेस्टिगेशन अभी भी हो रही है। इसके अलावा एनएसजी की जो फॉरेंसिक एक्सपर्ट की जो टीम होती है, आमतौर पर जो टेरर मॉड्यूल पर काम करती है, उनकी पूरी टीम यहाँ पे एक्सपर्ट की टीम है, उन्होंने यहाँ से कई सैंपल को कलेक्ट किया है। डॉग स्क्वाड की मदद ली गई। इसके अलावा दिल्ली पुलिस की लोकल पुलिस है और तमाम सीसीटीवी फुटेज को भी एग्जामिन किया जा रहा है। लेकिन जिस तरीके से कुछ सेकंड का जो फुटेज है, जिसमें एक कार के पास का जो आवाज सुनाई देता है धमाके की, उसके बाद गाड़ी का जो अलार्म है वो बजने लगता है, तो इतनी डेंसिटी आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि जो आवाज है काफी जोरदार है। कुछ लोग जो हमने जिनसे बात की, जिन्होंने इंटरव्यू दिया, उन्होंने इंटरव्यू के दौरान एक महिला ने बताया, इस पार्क में जहाँ पे हमने इंटरव्यू किया था, उन्होंने ये बताया कि उन्होंने 2 धमाके का, उनका दावा है कि 2 धमाकों की आवाज उन्होंने सुना, जिसमें दोनों धमाकों के बीच में 1 से 2 सेकंड के बीच का फर्क था। ये उनका दावा है। कई लोगों ने कहा कि आवाज बहुत तेज हुई। ये पूरा मार्केट का इलाका है, भीड़ भाड़ यहाँ पे रहता है, रेसिडेंशियल इलाका है। देखिए लोग इस वक्त भी शाम के वक्त यहाँ पर मॉल में आ रहे हैं, या ये मार्केट हालांकि इस वक्त बंद कर दिया गया है। मिठाई की दुकानें, यहाँ पर कई बड़ी दुकानें जहाँ पे आमतौर पर बहुत भीड़ होती है। लेकिन ऐसे में अब जिस तरीके का ये टारगेट्स, इसके पीछे का मकसद क्या है, ये अभी साफ नहीं हो पाया। लेकिन क्या इसमें टाइमर लगा हुआ था, ये अभी साफ नहीं हो पाया है। लेकिन जो ब्लास्ट है वो बहुत तेज ब्लास्ट हुआ था। लेकिन सीआरपीएफ स्कूल की दीवार के पास जो ब्लास्ट हुआ था, उसके कैंपस की डेंसिटी कम थी। लेकिन वहां पर भी देखिए उसके ठीक सामने मार्केट का इलाका है, और इत्तेफाक कहे या इसके पीछे का क्या साजिश है, क्योंकि ये इसी इलाके में जहां पे सड़क मौजूद है, इसी थाने इलाके का ही ये दूसरी वारदात है। पहली वारदात सीआरपीएफ स्कूल जो कि प्रशांत विहार थाने इलाका ही लगता है, और यहाँ पर जहाँ पे इस वक्त हम मौजूद है। और देखिए सबसे बड़ी बात ये कि मेरे पीछे ये जो आप देख रहे हैं, ये इस तरफ जहाँ पे ये क्राइम ब्रांच का ऑफिस है, यहाँ पर पीछे की तरफ, यहाँ से आप देख सकते हैं जो बोर्ड आप जहाँ पे गाड़ियां खड़ी हुई हैं, ठीक उसके पीछे क्राइम ब्रांच का ऑफिस है। और क्राइम ब्रांच का ऑफिस के महज कुछ ही दूरी पर ये ब्लास्ट होना, तो अपने में ये बहुत सारी चीजें, बहुत ऐसे सवाल है कि आखिर ऐसा कौन है, क्या इसके पीछे कोई टेरर मॉड्यूल है, या फिर किसी की साजिश है, या फिर किसी का सनकपन, ये अभी साफ नहीं हो पाया है। लेकिन जो एजेंसीज हैं वो
जी जावेद, इस जानकारी के लिए आपका शुक्रिया। To talk more about this, joining us on the show is Major General J.K. Bansal, Foreign Affairs and Defence expert. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS, also with us on the broadcast. Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, joins me in the studio as well. Joyita, what do you think is going on over here? You know, taking a leaf out of what Javed said at the end of his statement, either there is a terror module at work over here, or somebody is trying to be adventurous with the law and order.
Well, unless and until we know exactly the nature of the explosive, whether it's RDX or general bomb making material, we cannot say anything, what exactly it was about. But I am certain the police and the other investigators will be probing all angles. But yes, coming I would say inside 2-3 months we are going to have the Delhi Assembly elections, and even otherwise, when you are looking at the situation, whether any attempt to basically ensure that there is a resurgence of terror, if this is an attempt to look into the resurgence of terror, the police will have to look into that angle, goes without saying. But sometimes it happens that these are local hoodlums, maybe there is some kind of a bomb making factory over there, if not a major one, these country made bombs that you find, maybe they were trying to send it out of the city to some other part of the country, or to maybe UP and all. So many possibilities are there. So, it is very difficult to say without more information what exactly it was, and it does not seem to have been a very high intensity blast. It is a low intensity blast, because if you look at the photograph with the video, you can't even detect where that thing is happening, but obviously it is more than a pataka, Diwali pataka kind of a thing. So, yeah, right now all we can say is that the police has to be very, very vigilant.
Mrs. Sahai, what do you make of what's happening here, and how concerned should agencies be?
It is very, very concerning. There's absolutely no doubt. Given the fact that it is happening in Delhi and it has happened in quick succession, the capability of whosoever the person might be, he might be a madman or he might be a terrorist, we can't comment on that. But the point is the capability of whosoever, whichever group or whichever errant person to plant bombs or explosives, that also very near to a crime branch or in just on the outside of a CRPF school does not augur well for the law enforcement and intelligence agencies. The second fact is that we are already through with around a month or more after the CRPF school blast, and we have absolutely no idea as to the motive of the whole blast. So that makes it even more intriguing. See, in any blast or any crime of whatever nature, if you are not able to reach the motive and we are not able to understand the group which is behind it, so it's very difficult to comment as to where we are moving and whether we are moving in the right direction or not. So that is where we are, and things happening in Delhi, certainly it has a much wider ramifications.
Okay, much larger ramifications at work over here. And General Bansal, how do you think this is a threat if not taken care of, realistically and in real time, could spur into something bigger? You have the elections coming up in Delhi in a few months now.
Good evening. Definitely, it has to be taken very seriously because about a month back on 20th of October, it was there, and at that time there was email from pro-Khalistan Zindabad forces who has taken the responsibility, as well as there is something is also suspected that the pro-Maoist group could be there, but definitely last time also there was a white powder, this time also there was a white powder. This time whatever is being detected, three things is there was a hydrogen peroxide, there was a potassium chlorate, and there was a detonator, and these are the three things which are required for the this improvised explosive device, what we call it. And last time the Institute of IED was also involved for the investigation. So I think that more than a month has passed, there should have been something and should have been taken seriously. One thing more I would like to say here, of course it is considered to be a low intensity bomb, but a bomb is a bomb. Now in the present scenario, there is a possibility of nuclear radiation elements falling in the hands of all these groups, those things, and that is not much radiation material is required. The cesium-137 or cobalt-60, a pencil size, can also be contaminated. You can't see radiation, you can't smell it. So therefore, it is also very, very important. Whenever I would like to convey to all the investigating agencies that they must have a radiation detector with them, because radiation detector is very important. Radiation cannot be seen, and it has got a very far adverse effect, long-term side effects, which is in the form of cataract, cancer, interstitial fibrosis of lung, infertility, etc. So that is also very important. But this is a really very, very serious matter and is to be taken very seriously, because there is something which happens after more than 13 years or so. Last bomb was in the Delhi High Court, which was in 2011, where the 66 people died. After that, there was no such kind of bomb was there. Of course, in 1997, there was the bombing. 2010 also there was a bomb, and 2005 there was a massive bomb blast in Sarojini Nagar where nearly 65 people died. So this Delhi, it was free from such events, but suddenly happening such kind of thing is to be taken seriously, and I really fail to understand that after more than a month, why the agencies which are involved, such a high national agency like National Investigating Agency is there, of course IED they have involved, and NSG, Delhi Police, so they must find out what is the cause. It should not be taken lightly. Vinit.
Joyita, what can the government of the day do to figure this out? This is in fact something that's happened successively, and this is something which is obviously on the periphery of the Delhi elections as well. This is a suspicious blast. Do you think there is a intelligence amiss angle here as well?
Well, I think more than where they are going to place the bomb, I think what is necessary to know is what kind of cells are involved, what kind of cells are operating. We were under the impression that I mean our investigating agencies and the Delhi police have been pretty, they have been able to eliminate a lot of quote unquote terror cells that have been working in the city, some kind of an underground situation, I mean underground cells. Because if you remember sometime back in maybe 14-15 years back, I mean blasts etc., they had become very common in Delhi and too many people had lost their lives. It was way too scary at that point in time. From there we have had a long reprieve, there has been some kind of a long silence. So, if that is being broken, so I think the police and the agencies will have to be much more vigilant than they are. Goes without saying, no amount of laxity should have come into their system. So, that is the main worry, what kind of laxity has got into the system. But as I said, but at the same time we do not know exactly from whatever little bit of information that has come our way that what exactly happened, the intensity of the blast, whether what was available, what was found there or not. So, until and unless, I am certain the investigators are trying to find out what exactly happened, whether it was just a simple plain act of mischief, whether it was a mistake, whether it was a deliberate act of some kind of a terror. Nobody has been able to tell us anything yet. So, perhaps we can just wait and find out what these people speak, what these people tell us.
Right, and Mr. Sahai, there hasn't been a terror attack in the capital or the larger part of the country as well for years now. That is obviously something that can be attributed to the good intelligence work and the good policing that has happened. Do you see that there has been a problem with that, or is that intact according to you?
I think that is intact. What is disquieting is that it has happened within a span of around 30-35 days, these two blasts. And I am 100% confident that behind whatever information is available in the public domain, lots of work would be underway as far as the intelligence and the investigative agencies are concerned. And they would also be picking up details of which terror groups or connected Maoist group or whatever met with output as to what work they have done in a variety of other places. There might be lots of links which would be coming. Might be it's a strategy of the investigative agencies not to let out everything in the public, because that also does not work in the interest of the investigation. But only I hope and pray that this reprieve which we were having of last so many years or more than a decade of blasts in Delhi or in other places also, I don't think that gets broken. Because what we have seen recently in Bombay after that particular murder, so nearly for 18 years or 16 years there hardly been anything, and all of a sudden we get this chilling murder which happened in Bombay. So I just hope that the intelligence agencies and the enforcement agencies are on the right track. I presume, and I'm sure, because they have been able to control and they have been able to deal with this nature of cells. So they have the capability, they have the intelligence. It's just that in this particular case it is taking a slightly more time, or they are reaching a conclusive level, and that is not being put in the public domain for reasons which are very, very valid. So that is my point of view.
General Bansal, same question for you. The policing has obviously been stellar, and you can't be everywhere all the time, but the fact of the matter is these are sensitive times. It's a situation which needs to be nipped in the bud.
Sensitive time, whatever has been pointed out about the election, I don't think that it is something because of the election it is happening, but definitely this is a matter of concern because it happens twice and the same area. This is the soft target somebody has identified, or maybe somebody close by is got a chance to do it. So I do agree with you that it's not possible police all the time. Of course there are the CCTV cameras and all, and in the morning whatever has been reported is that there was one person was going with his dogs and they put a cigarette over there, and following that cigarette whatever was in the garbage, it was blasted. So and he has been also interrogated. So everything is to be kept in mind, and I feel that once the incidents occur, it is definitely police or the investigating agency can track and can find out what is the cause, who is the person behind it, and what is the motive. So, but definitely it is no incidental, neither it is just like a accident or somebody is just doing it like this. There is definitely a motive and intention, whatever has been called, even the Lawrence Visnoy. Some things are coming in the news that there has been somebody is claiming that we are the person who are doing it. So all those angles has to be taken into account, specifically the pro-Khalistan Azad force and the Visnoy group. They have to be tracked, and all the investigating agencies of the country should participate and should put their best effort to find out what is the cause, and that is how one can think and take a preventive measures and can track and can come heavily on those agencies.
All right, on that note, we're going to dip into a short break. Appreciate everyone who joined us and weighed in on this issue. We'll be right back.
एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स हाईली प्रोफैशनल ਬੰਦੇ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਅ ਅਫਸਰ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਫੋਰੈਂਸਿਕ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ, ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ।
भगवंत सिंह मान जी की जो एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स है, इसमें कन्विक्शन रेट इज़ एज हाई एज 81%। व्हाट्सएप चैटबोट एंटी ड्रग हेल्पलाइन जिसका नाम है सेफ पंजाब, भगवंत सिंह मान जी ने इसीलिए लॉन्च करी थी कि लोगों को हमसे भी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है कि कौन नशा बेच रहा है, कहाँ बेच रहा है। 457 पे एक्शन भी लिया जा चुका है, जैसे कि रेड करना उनके घर पे या फिर FIR करना।
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਨਤ ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੀਰੋ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
ਲਾਅ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। 3.5 ਕਰੋੜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ, ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ।
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann, the Punjab government has a zero tolerance policy against drugs. Another strict step by the Punjab government, Safe Punjab, anti-drug helpline and WhatsApp chatbot. For complaints, message us at 97791 00200. Join us in the fight against drugs.
Punjab's Sadak Suraksha Force is creating history. In only 6 months, there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities.
ਇਸ ਵਾਰ SSF ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਮੌਤਾਂ ਘਟ ਗਈਆਂ। ਜੇ 50% ਵੀ ਘਟਾ ਲਿਆ 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚ ਜੂਗੀ ਜੀ, 3000 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ।
Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann took one brave step and changed the picture of Punjab. The result, Punjab got a dedicated force committed to road safety.
ऐसे ही बड़े रहते थे जी रोड पे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं था जी कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया, जरूरत है किसी चीज की। पर अब एक कॉल करो, बंदे हाजिर।
SSF doesn't just help accident victims, it also ensures that the road safety is never compromised under any circumstances.
हमारा मोटिव है 1 सेकंड गवाए बिना राहत पहुंचाना हर कीमत पर।
Equipped with world-class technology, capable of handling the toughest situations.
अब तो अकेले ट्रैवल करने में भी डर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पता है SSF is just a call away।
जय हिंद जी, पंजाब पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम 112।
Always prepared for their duty, with a response time that is fast, very fast.
उस दिन अगर जरा सी भी देर हो जाती तो कुछ भी हो सकता था।
Only 6 months, and there has been a 45% reduction in road accident fatalities in Punjab. Sadak Suraksha Force Punjab, with you on every journey.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स हाईली प्रोफੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਬੰਦੇ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਅ ਅਫਸਰ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਫੋਰੈਂਸਿਕ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ, ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ।
भगवंत सिंह मान जी की जो एंटी नारकोटिक्स टास्क फोर्स है, इसमें कन्विक्शन रेट इज़ एज हाई एज 81%। व्हाट्सएप चैटबोट एंटी ड्रग हेल्पलाइन जिसका नाम है सेफ पंजाब, भगवंत सिंह मान जी ने इसीलिए लॉन्च करी थी कि लोगों को हमसे भी ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है कि कौन नशा बेच रहा है, कहाँ बेच रहा है। 457 पे एक्शन भी लिया जा चुका है, जैसे कि रेड करना उनके घर पे या फिर FIR करना।
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਨਤ ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੀਰੋ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ।
ਲਾਅ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। 3.5 ਕਰੋੜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਾਡਾ, ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ।
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann, the Punjab government has a zero tolerance policy against drugs. Another strict step by the Punjab government, Safe Punjab, anti-drug helpline and WhatsApp chatbot. For complaints, message us at 97791 00200. Join us in the fight against drugs.
MDH का किचन किंग किचन में हो तो हम सब कुछ बना सकते हैं। बैंगन का भरता, आलू गोभी, भिंडी मसाला और भी बहुत कुछ।
MDH
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला।
MDH।
Welcome back. The suspense over the next Maharashtra Chief Minister is intensifying. A crucial meeting involving Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar is underway in Delhi. Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar have already arrived in Delhi, and the three leaders are set to meet Home Minister Amit Shah in a crucial Mahayuti meeting to discuss Maharashtra government formation, is what we're learning. Anand Singh, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to give us the latest update on this development. Anand, this is an important meeting, but in terms of the agenda, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, when it looks, it's just about the agenda of this special meeting that is scheduled at the reference of even Home Minister Amit Shah, even as two of the senior leaders from the Mahayuti alliance partner, Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar. They both of them have arrived in the national capital, and if we talk about Eknath Shinde, he's yet to leave from the airport here in Mumbai. So he will be arriving around 8:30 or 9 p.m. from the national capital. So the meeting, which will be held at Amit Shah residence, will start around 9:30 p.m. in the night, and it will discuss the next course of Maharashtra Mahayuti alliance partner formula for the seat sharing of cabinet portfolio, even as for the next Chief Ministerial candidate, because yesterday it was Eknath Shinde who had clarified that whatever decision the BJP central leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah, will take, that will be acceptable to him.
And he just yesterday, by announcing all these things, he cleared the way, he paved the way for the BJP to have its own chief ministerial place in Maharashtra, as Eknath Shinde was the chief minister for last 2.5 years of the Mahayuti alliance, where Devendra Fadnavis worked as his deputy and even Ajit Pawar worked as his deputy in the state over here. So definitely a very crucial meeting that is scheduled today at the residence of Amit Shah in Delhi. Back to you, Vinny.
Sanjay Sharma, my colleague, is also joining us at this point in time from Delhi to talk more about this. Sanjay, क्या तय होने वाला है इस बड़ी मुलाकात में? सुनने में ये आ रहा है कि देवेंद्र फडणवीस वापस से कमान संभालेंगे मुख्यमंत्री की और एकनाथ शिंदे को कोई केंद्र पद से नवाजा जाएगा।
बिल्कुल, देवेंद्र फडणवीस अगले मुख्यमंत्री हो सकते हैं महाराष्ट्र के। आज शाम को जो बैठक हो रही है 9:30 बजे बैठक शुरू होगी। केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री अमित शाह के यहाँ के घर पर यह बैठक होगी और इस बैठक के लिए देवेंद्र फडणवीस दिल्ली पहुंच चुके हैं और दिल्ली आते से ही वो सीधे सबसे पहले मिलने गए, केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री अमित शाह के घर गए। पहले उनकी 1-to-1 मुलाकात होनी है, उसके बाद महायुति के तीनों नेताओं के साथ उनकी मुलाकात होगी और एकनाथ शिंदे भी थोड़ी देर बाद पहुंचने वाले हैं दिल्ली। अजीत पवार आज सुबह दिल्ली पहुंच चुके हैं। 9:30 बजे तीनों महायुति के नेता जब बैठेंगे तो फैसला होगा सीएम कौन होगा और एकनाथ शिंदे की भावी जिम्मेदारी क्या होगी। जहां तक बात है फार्मूला की, तो एक सीएम 2 डिप्टी सीएम का पद फार्मूले में तय हो चुका है। सीएम बीजेपी का होगा, बीजेपी की तरफ से देवेंद्र फडणवीस का नाम सबसे आगे चल रहा है। 2 डिप्टी सीएम होंगे, एक डिप्टी सीएम अजित पवार हो सकते हैं एनसीपी की तरफ से और दूसरा डिप्टी सीएम का पद एकनाथ शिंदे पार्टी को मिलेगा। एकनाथ शिंदे या तो खुद डिप्टी सीएम बनेंगे या फिर वो किसी को, अपने किसी नेता को डिप्टी सीएम के लिए नॉमिनेट करेंगे और ऐसी स्थिति में फिर हो सकता है कि एकनाथ शिंदे खुद केंद्र में आ जाए, केंद्र में मंत्री बन सकते हैं। तो ये सारे के सारे फार्मूले लेकर के आज देर शाम को बैठक होनी है अमित शाह के घर पर और आज ही महाराष्ट्र का नया सीएम का नाम तय हो जाएगा। कल मुंबई जाकर के देवेंद्र फडणवीस और महायुति के तीनों नेता गवर्नर से मिलकर के सरकार बनाने का दावा पेश करेंगे।
ठीक Sanjay, Daryl, my colleague, is also joining us from Mumbai at this point in time. Daryl, what's the buzz right now? What are you hearing and what could be the result, the outcome of this all-important meeting? And is Mr. Eknath Shinde going to be okay with moving out as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra?
See, right now I'm present outside Mumbai. And just now, CM Eknath Shinde has arrived at the Mumbai airport and he'll be flying to Delhi in some time. And before that, we saw Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar have already left for Delhi and they have also landed in Delhi. And Eknath Shinde has just arrived at the Mumbai airport and now he'll be leaving for Delhi. If you see, along with Eknath Shinde, there are two other ministers of the Maharashtra who have accompanied him. That is Uday Samant and Shambhuraj Desai, who also termed as Eknath Shinde's closet. So even they are going to Delhi. And we saw Ravindra Chavan, who is another cabinet minister in Maharashtra, has left for Delhi along with Devendra Fadnavis. If we see, there are now many. The discussion will be about the portfolios also. What information we are getting through sources is that the BJP might keep the CM post along with BJP, and Eknath Shinde might get deputy CM along with UD, that is urban development. And on the other hand, Ajit Pawar has been offered the post of DCM along with the finance ministry. So in today's meeting, all the discussion not only about the CM phase but also about the portfolios will be taking place regarding who will get which portfolios. So Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar will be having a meeting today with Amit Shah, which is set to take place at 8 p.m. in Delhi. So all discussions not only about the CM phase but also regarding the portfolios will be taking place today in Delhi. Back to studio.
All right, Daryl, appreciate you joining us. All right, Varun Singh, political analyst, is with us on the show. Advocate Manasvi Thapar, political analyst, also joins us. Rajalakshmi Joshi, a senior political analyst, with us on the program as well. Last but not the least, Mr. Sumit Peer, political commentator, with us on the program as well. Sumit, what do you make of what's going on right now? Is it surprising to you that Mr. Eknath Shinde, would agree to, A, playing second fiddle now to perhaps a Devendra Fadnavis, or B, taking up a bigger role at the center? Because from the looks of it and from the buzz, it seems that Mr. Fadnavis is slated, earmarked for the top job.
Vinny, thank you for having me on your show. It was a couple of days, I think your channel, your show, when I was stretching my neck out and saying three things. Look, the CM of Maharashtra is going to be Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. This is on record. There will be two deputy CMs. That's what the formula looks. Ajit Dada Pawar, of course, there. I think here it won't be Eknath Shinde ji. It will be his son, Dr. Shrikant Shinde, who will be the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. And Eknath Shinde ji will move to the center with a plump cabinet portfolio, because that will make him a Rashtriya Neta or a national Neta, and the son will continue to be the CM, Deputy CM at this age, is fantastically good, and he's a very nice person, a qualified doctor. So a Pada Likha Deputy CM would be an ideal. Now, if you look at Devendra Fadnavis ji, he has done a fantastic work. He did much more than what BJP expected internally. He is the one who broke the Shiv Sena into two parts and then got the winning side of the Shiv Sena. He is the one who broke the NCP into the two parts and got the winning side of the NCP with him. With all those achievements, and to keep the ground under control and to keep the Karyakartas under control, I think there is nobody who could be better footed than Devendra Fadnavis ji. There was a talk he'll be moved to Delhi and made a Rashtriya Adhyaksh. I stretched my neck out and said, no, that's not going to happen, because that is not where his competencies are. You need this man on the ground. Maharashtra is a state with $510 billion of GDP. It's the most prosperous state of India. And after such a fantastic win, and after the person who has worked hard and given you such a win, you can't put him into some other job. And secondly, look at the tyag and look at the sacrifice of Devendra Fadnavis ji. Last time, when 2.5 years back, first he told, I will not be in the government, I will support from outside. Nadda ji does a press conference in Delhi and declares Devendra Fadnavis will be the deputy CM. And as a